Good morning, my Teaserking family. How's everybody today? I'm going to show you some video that I've been watching, how stupid people are. And the problem is if you listen to them, how it confuses you on what to do. Then I say something and you're going, well, he said this and you say that. Who do I listen to? So I was watching a few, economic videos, gold's this, silver's that, in Russia and all that. So I will review a few of those with you, and just to explain the problems, because the problems we have is we are, as human, the nature is to listen to more people, right? In other words, even if you have, let's say, a really great girlfriend, you still look at other girls, right? If you're eating a steak at your favorite restaurant, you still go to other restaurants, right? It's human nature you want you look around, let's say, right? And that's okay. We understand it as human nature, right? That's why I ask people, why are you getting married? I asked that one guy in the hot tub, why are you getting married? Well, I love the girl. And I said, so what? You're going to meet 50 others. And it's going to be very difficult for you to just be with the one girl, right? So this is what I eat at this restaurant. It's going to be very hard for you. To not eat it. Oh, look, it's adorable. I'm live on that. Now, one thing I did notice, if I make this for kids, we can't chat live. It says you can't chat if it's for kids. You can't chat live. So that's one of the reasons I do. However, I also heard the algorithms only pick up the chats for kids. So that's why I am not as broad as I should be as these others. But I would rather talk live with you, provided you keep your manners to an INFJ, and we have our conversation back and forth. And your comments and questions can be answered live, as opposed to these shows where they, where they don't do that. You're just, you're there, but you're not live. So you type the question in and hope they get to you. So let's see. So first I listen to this idiot. This guy's really stupid. He talks in riddles at a level that nobody understands, which is the problem, right? You get a guy like this. I don't know what he's saying. He's talking gibberish, basically. And whatever he's talking, he doesn't get paper gold and physical gold. So I just humor myself going, does this idiot know what he's talking about? Why does that do that? Okay, so. Wow, they leaked the Briggs master plan. They fooled everyone. This is his topic. You know what they fooled? That they're having gold back, they're having money back by gold. Well, we've known about this. How long have I told you about this? 3-4 months? As soon as Alistair McLean told us. This is why I listen to Alistair McLean and not this idiot. He's telling us stuff we already know. And he really doesn't get what he's talking about. I don't even know if I should waste everybody's time with it. Then I saw this one, IRS to monitor everybody's bank account. But then I noticed it's a year ago, and she says, they're going to monitor your account. And I'm like, no, they're not. They're going to monitor certain amounts, but really it's just like if you speed, they're going to give you a ticket. Well, how often does that happen? Not a lot. And the same thing here. How often does this happen? What the fuck? Why do I keep losing my page? So to the point of, if you do a $10,000 like deposit or withdrawal, they'll send it to the IRS, but so what? It's legal. When I take money out of the bank, out of my IRA, and put it in my savings and then buy gold with it, they don't monitor at the gold place. And then as far as at the bank, I get it in. Well, you can see it's coming from E-Trade and it's going to the bank. So what? I didn't do anything wrong. All I did was transfer it. So I don't know if they're trying to scare you or what the object is, but it's really stupid. It doesn't make any sense. So I'm not going to waste our time with that. I don't really want to waste our time with the bubblehead who's going to tell us that. And says the Fed sells $374 billion in U.S. debt. Well, China sold it, not the Fed. Oh, Fed sells that. China sold a bunch too. Well, they're all getting out of paper. The problem is nobody asks the question. China slams dollar because they don't want to be in dollars because they're worthless. So what is China doing? They're buying gold. What are all the central banks doing? Buying gold. And then their excuse on the thing is, well, they're buying gold for safety. Well, because it's so cheap, they're buying gold to get out of the paper currency because they realize they're fake. This is nothing new. How long have we been talking about this? For a year? This is collapsing. I show you this every day. This is collapsing. You buy gold. Oh, it's not a new concept. So China doesn't want it anymore. Russia, you've already said you're suspended. You can't have it. Other countries are afraid. Not that they all trust Russia and China. They don't. But any currency backed by gold, which is what they would do, but they can't. They can't do it, or the U.S. will bomb them. So it must be Russia and China who does this because the U.S. won't do anything with them. So that's the point. They can't do it. It's not going to happen. So, when you hear this stuff, you just realize how stupid these people are. Oh, wait, they don't want U.S. dollars. They want to get out and buy and have gold. It's not a hard concept to figure out. All right, so now ask the expert.
With inflation now at a 40-year high and rising, and with Washington dead set up, it's coming. And it could easily be this year.
All right, so this is some idiot.
Flat out don't understand what they're doing. They're working with models that are flawed. So the inputs are giving them the wrong outputs, and they're making the wrong decisions. And that's how we got these gigantic booms and busts. And
that's not how.
Bust, which was the pandemic, was pretty catastrophic. But the one that's coming, if we have a recession that turns into something, it's 2008, 2009 on steroids, then that bust is going to be bigger than any previous busts, and it's going to require even more monetary easing to prevent a 1930s style deflationary depression, and so at that point, I think it's really the end of the fiat currency fractional reserve banking world. The system that we've lived.
It's already over, moron.
Our entire adult lives is finally going to break down, and
I got to put some nasty comments in this.
Are going to fall into disrepute. The whole concept is going to be discredited. So yeah, we're at a very exciting time. not a pleasant.
Guy's out of his fucking mind.
For most people, not a happy time, but from an economics nerd standpoint, this is.
You're a nerd. I'm not a nerd. I'm an intelligent guy.
Well, and that's why I ended
this guy's an idiot too.
It doesn't even matter, because I think as precious metal investors, or even just general investors, in 2023, the information comes at you every day so quickly, and it's treated with such urgency. I remember the phrase, the tyranny of the urgent, not getting caught in the tyranny of the urgent. And that's kind of what I feel like, and the Fed, they're just going to hike and hike and hike and hike and hike. And it's always going to be this way. It's never going to change. And I don't think that squares with history. And as you said, and I just
can't use history here.
Topic number 2, they're so focused on what's directly in front of them, like a cat.
I don't get that coming.
They're not really giving thought to the lagging effects. They don't really have any models, to go from 0% to 5% in 15 months. They've never done that before.
Don't need models.
They don't have any models that they can fall back on. They're just kind of flying by the seats of their pants. And so I wonder, John, getting back, like I said, as I ended that first question, it doesn't even matter. They're just making it worse. And the worse they make it now, the greater the upcoming QE, the sharper the upcoming.
Okay, so with these idiots, Heckle and Jekyll, I'll call them. So you think these guys are good. Yeah, here's a good comment. I get tired of these long-term outlook interviews. We all know the dollar will continue to march towards zero over the next 50 years, just like you did over the past. Well, it's not going to be 50 years. It'll be the next 6 months. Over the last month, the dollar is rising, gold is falling. I've learned to ignore those long-term worries because they interfere with your ability to trade. I am currently long the dollar and short gold. That will change as soon as the chart tells me to exit. Just a second. I'll read this to you in a second. Let's see where my reply. Okay. So I'm going to read you his thing. Now, this is a guy replying to these morons. I get tired of these long-term outlook interviews. We all know the dollar will continue to march towards zero over the next 50 years. No, over the next 3 months. Just like it did over the last 50 years. But see, so right now he's showing he's clueless, right? But knowing that does not help me make money today. You're not trying to make money today. You're trying to not lose money today. Over the last month, the dollar is rising and gold is falling. No, the dollar is not rising and gold is not falling. I have learned to ignore these long-term worries because they interfere with your ability to trade. I am currently long the dollar and short gold. That will change as soon as the charts tell me to exit. Oh, my God. This is a typical Keynesian. This guy's a moron, and you will see that's what I told him. Okay, so the guy's name is Original Fred. Brian responded, there's going to come a time in short to midterm future where gold and dollar will be going up. Again, he doesn't know. Agriculture stocks in foreign countries like Brazil, big dividends, and food isn't going down for 5 to 10 years. You can start nibbling on natural gas. Yeah, I've been following these guys since 2015, and for sure this thing is such a slow grind that you could easily waste time listening. Yes, I begin to think the same. I'll be dead in 50 years. There are plenty of channels more oriented to short-term trading. Now, here's the Teaser King's answer. I'll let you read it, and then I'll read it. I sent it to Professor, and I'm loving if I would ever get feedback, but nobody has the balls to contact the Teaser King. Now, the reason I don't put comments on mine is I don't really have time for them. I don't really want to fight and get negative comments. I don't need people saying, you're right. I know I'm right. So I'm only going to get, you're right, good show, or I'm going to get, no, I'm a Keynesian and I believe in communism, which I don't want to deal with. So that's why I don't it. So here's my answer to this guy. You're an idiot. Dollar has no value. Gold is going up, not down. COMEX is fake. Physical demand through the roof. Wake up, Keynesian, the professor. This sums up everything in a nutshell right there. He doesn't understand the dollar's headed out. He doesn't understand inflation. He doesn't understand COMEX is paper. So he says dollar's up, gold. The dollar's not up. It's up against the others. The dollar's very weak. Gold is not down, gold is up, but we can't get a real gold price. So we know gold's up, but we can't sit there and look at COMEX and say gold's down because COMEX is down. So this is that's my reply to this moron. Now I'm gonna go to make a new comment. I'm going to show you this. I'm commenting that. All right, here's my comment that I just put on this site. I'll give you a minute to read it. This basically hammers home everything I talk about. So I'm insulting the hosts for being idiots, for not saying the real questions, and for coming around going, oh, this is exciting. Like, you're a fucking idiot. This is not exciting. People are going to lose their lives, and they're all broke and dependent on the government, and you're laughing. I'll laugh about, poker or communist or stuff like that. I'm not going to laugh about that. Okay, so let me read what these morons are talking about. Why do you talk paper gold? Why don't you ask the real question, which is why the U.S. is blowing up the economy on purpose? I believe it's because China is running the U.S. and has the most to benefit. Why don't you talk about physical gold prices, Russia and China exchanges? You're both clueless and lack the brains to thank the professor. and I'm going to give it the first like. So this is what I talk about. So you got this guy thinking he knows what he's doing. They bring on a guest. This is the danger that I bring to the table that I am trying to hammer home as an INFJ, but just in general. So you go on this chat and you listen to these guys that Sprout, which is the biggest crook. He's a Madoff. He's selling the ETFs. Why don't they talk about that? ETFs are paper. They're not physical. You're not going to have physical. As I mentioned, if you're in an ETF, Bobby, I've already had my avocado. This is the next part of lunch. An orange. So my point is, ETFs are not gold. If you think you got 20 ounces of ETF gold, you're fucked. You're wrong. You don't have any, because they're not selling gold. They're not selling physical gold. So when the shit hits the fan and everybody with the ETF wants their gold, they don't have it. It's a scam. It's a con game. This is like me. I'm going to sell Bellagio cups. And everybody, oh, okay, I'm going to buy ETF and Bellagio cups. And then the shit hits the fan and there's 20,000 people who think they own that Bellagio cup. And I go, no, it's mine. I'm the only one who owns it, not you. What are you talking about? No, sorry. You own the ETF, but you don't own the physical. Well, wait a minute. I bought it wanting the coffee mug, not the ETF. And I'd say, well, go to the store and buy the coffee mug. Go to the store and buy the gold coin. Don't buy the ETF thinking you bought the gold coin, because you didn't. Or if you bought a gold stock, that's going to go down. All the stocks are going to tumble. I was watching something on the housing market, and it's collapsing. Interest, they start, I think it was in this interview, they start talking, or it was in the other one, it was one of these. They start talking about, the prices have gone up and the interest rates have gone up and people can't afford it. Duh, really? Same with cars. How many times have we discussed that for the last year? Of course. Here's your market. Here's what you're selling it for. Okay, that's fine. Now you raise prices here, you raise interest rates. Here's the market. Are you going to sell? It's a very simple, if you understand this idea, you understand everything about finance and economics. It's a very simple concept. But you got to look at it like this. What's the market? And then it goes. So in a housing market, if the house is, now there's different markets. That's why I show you the baseball cards. There's people that want to spend $100,000, people that want to spend $500,000, people that want to spend $1 million. And then there's Tom Brady and Bobby who want to spend $10 million. But there's still markets, right? So some idiot bought Brady's house for $40 million. What is he? He must be Russian or Chinese with gold. I don't know who else would do it. So your market is, you want to buy a $300,000 house. That's what I bought. I bought a $350,000 house when I was married. Yes, I actually lived in a house. Whatever idiot thinks I'm an idiot because I live in an apartment. Yes, I was in a $350,000 house. Went up to $450,000, and then it went back down to $300,000. Then we got divorced. So with that said, that was our market was $350,000, and even then our market was not. My market was $250,000. I told my ex, which is another reason she's my ex, I says $250,000. We don't need to go in over our heads. We don't need, knowing I'm an INFJ and I tell people to fuck off a lot, especially at work, I switch jobs a lot. So as I'm switching jobs, there's going to be a lag till I get the new job. And in the interview, they like me, so they hire me. And if it works out like Canadian Club, or if it works out like Mercedes, everything's wonderful. I'm there for 10 years. If it's like Ford and they're a bunch of idiots, I can't take it and I leave, or Toyota. I'm not going to be run by the Japanese. Are not going to intimidate me and control me. That's not going to happen. So I move on. You don't see a lot of the Japanese. I would tell you never work for the Japanese, never go to Japan. And I would tell you that it's They're a bunch of fucking idiots. They don't know anything, and they don't realize when you're smarter than them to give you the acknowledgement. Oh yeah, you got a master's and you just worked 4 years at Mercedes. Yeah, you're probably fucking smarter than I am. Anyway, so I didn't want to get in too far. So anyway, so let's say our market's 350. If the cost of the house goes up to 4.25, and then you add interest rates, the interest rate hikes make your payment like it's 475, and the market's 350. Guess what? You're not selling it. None of these idiots understand that concept. What do they say? Well, interest rates are up. Well, the Fed raising interest rates does not raise interest rates on homes and cars. That is strictly inflation. The Fed raising interest rates does not cancel inflation. That's not how you get rid of it. You really can't get rid of it. Once you print the money, you print the money. What happened in the 80s when the guy made it 20%, that really didn't get rid of it. What it did is it brought the money back into the banks, because then people thought, oh, I'll get a CD, and it brought the money back in. But now you've got not only the flood of money out to different countries, but you also have these high 31, which is really like $80 trillion in debt when you add Medicare, Social Security, and some of the other government handouts and all these government employees. You really have a debt much higher than 31 trillion. But you're not going to pay that off. Plus, you owe other countries, and then they borrow. You've raised their interest rates. You could, you could. What's the words? I want to say stockade for some reason. Sanction. I'm going to write that down. You could sanction the other countries. So there's fear in the other countries. They don't want to hold the dollar. So they're not buying it. They're selling it at this higher rate. So again, it's you're costing them more. So what's happening is a lot of people are not buying your debt or returning your money. They don't want it. China and Japan keep returning the money. They don't want it. Here you go. They're selling, and they're buying gold with it. That's why gold's up. Well, why? Let's take I can't think of that word. Let's take a look at why would they buy gold? It's protection. Why do you need protection? You're in US dollars. Oh, you mean US dollars are failing because they're having huge inflation? Oh, is that why? Is that why the US dollar is getting weaker, not stronger because of the inflation? Oh, I thought I thought the US dollar is getting stronger. Oh, it's getting stronger versus the other currencies. Oh, the other currencies are all going to zero. Oh, wait. So if it's like the Lions, we have the best team in the worst division. We're a good team. No, we still suck. It's like Jacksonville. They suck, but they were the best in that division. They were no Kansas City, Buffalo, or Cincinnati. So it's like saying that Jacksonville was a good team because they won their division. No, they weren't. They sucked. They're a terrible team. They got a terrible coach. They got a terrible quarterback. They got a weak defense. So they're not a very good team. So if the U.S. currency sucks, all these other countries are running into gold, since the U.S. is the reserve currency, and they're all trying to get off the reserve currency. It's like finding out this, I don't know, the fat, ugly girl just got fat and ugly, and everybody was wanting to date her. Now nobody wants to date her, right? They're going, no, she's too fat, too ugly. I don't want to date her. And so that's what you have. So what are they doing? They're buying gold. Why would you buy gold? Gold's no good. I'm a Keynesian. Gold's no good. This is how stupid Keynesians are, right? And that's what these idiots are. These are Keynesians. If they're Austrians, they would not be clueless on physical gold, and they would not be clueless on the rapid inflation. He's talking it might get as bad as 1930. It's going to be 20 times worse than 1930 because of the debt, and you're raising interest rates into nothing, and you're killing the housing market and the stock market and the car market. So Oh, we're not in a recession, really? Well, I'm sure housing is down, and that means wood, and that means toilets, and that means everything that goes into a house, refrigerators, a stove, things like that, dishwashers, painting, drywall. That means you're laying off a lot of builders and construction people. That means they're not going to the grocery store with as much money as they used to have because they're now not working. They're on unemployment. The job market's good. Really? Can you analyze the job market? Where is it good? What? People working where at people greeting you at Myers going, welcome to Myers. Is this your job market? I don't know. I can't, I haven't been able to get a job since October. I get calls, but nobody wants to hire because they're obviously afraid of recession. That we're in one, they can't hire now. It's not because sales are dropping, right? It's probably what they're doing is seeing, oh, there's Howard out there, but then they get their financial statement and sales have dropped, which I could warn them about. See, I could save all these businesses by telling them, close down, take out your money and buy gold with it. And then when gold and silver go through the roof, you'll have made all this money. You don't need a business, just buy gold and silver. It's so simple. We do it, right? What do I tell you guys? Buy your gold and silver. Why do I tell you to buy gold and silver? Because it's so cheap. It's going to go up a fortune. Why do you think all the central banks are buying it? Why is Russia and China buying as much as they can get? Because they know it's 2,000 an ounce and 25 an ounce, and they know it's going up to 30, 40, 50,000 or more. And silver is going to be, as our guy told us yesterday, 666. Once it hits 666, it's on its way to 1,000, on its way to 2,000, and gold goes up. That's why they're buying it. Yeah, safety, but it's really the price, because that's why they're getting a physical price. They're getting these physical exchanges in Russia and China to get the physical price, and COMEX is gone. Now, why do these idiots still talk about COMEX? COMEX is dead. JP Morgan can do these little derivatives all he wants, but in reality, it's like Lord of the Rings. You know, you've got the big fight, and you look out and there's a million soldiers, and they're still, well, I'll have a drink, and like there's nothing wrong, right? It's like or Helm's Deep when the guy's sitting there and there's all these orcs coming at him. And he's like, oh, is that the best you can do? And then he blows up the wall. It's sort of like you got all these people coming. You've got this heavy inflation. You've got paper money going to zero. And, gold and silver have no choice but to go up. And these guys are clueless. They won't say it. They don't know it. They look like idiots. And I know, and this is a Sprout thing. So I know Sprout, what they want to do is sell ETFs, so the guy won't dare do it. That's why you can't listen to it, because it's not real. So the point here is a couple of things. One, be careful who you listen to. Come to me first and ask. And I've told you, Alistair McLean, Andrew McGuire, and then Egon. So those three guys are the only three guys I would listen to. Everybody else, these guys, they don't tell you anything. The dollar's going to collapse, but they don't know when. And they really don't know why. So you're sitting there going, what the fuck is wrong with these guys? So this is the purpose of what I'm trying to warn you about is, who do you listen to? That other idiot with the long hair, he doesn't, I don't want to waste your time, but it'd be like he's talking in Chinese. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't follow you. You don't speak English. What is the point of doing a video? So he talks, so you can tell he's a Keynesian. One, because he talks about COMEX. And two, he talks in these heavy words. Like when I went to the bank and the guy talks to me about elastic and inelastic. Have you ever heard that come out of my mouth when I'm explaining economics? No, because it's not in my mouth for economics. It's a rubber band is elastic because I can pull it, and then it breaks, and then it's inelastic. So inelastic means the price can't move. What does that got to do with anything? We don't care about that. What we care about is market. So if the market's here, the price can't move. So in effect, everything's, I guess, inelastic would be the word, but everything's not movable. You can't charge more and have a market. So what's happening then is they're going to go out of business. Like if the guy needs to start charging $40 for ribs, he's out of business. Pure and simple. There's no way he's going to stay in business selling a slab of ribs for $40 that he sells for $25 because there's no market for it. Oh, excuse me. So if you think about it, what we're chasing is demand. That's what Tesla's chasing. That's what prices show you. That's what GM and Toyota are chasing. That's what Oreo and Coca-Cola is chasing. Prices are information. It tells you at what level is your demand for the price. So if I sold my football games for $1, I'd have 1 million people sign up because for the dollar, they'd all get rich. But it's not worth it to me to sell it for the dollar. So I weigh the market for my football picks. And where I'm at, about right. I don't want to be much cheaper. But, you know, let's say I sell for a 1 1/4 and Bobby goes, well, can I buy your picks for 100? And I'd go, yeah, okay. But if Bobby says, can I buy your picks for 10? I'd say no. 20, no. 50, no. 100's about as low as I'll go. But you're getting all my picks and you're going to make thousands of dollars with them. Are you going to tip me? No. So $100. Because there has to be a point where I benefit from it, right? If I get $1 for the picks, I don't benefit. I make $20. Big deal. My picks are worth a hell of a lot more than that. So Canadian Club, there has to be a point where it's worth it to sell it. And then you put it in the market. And then it starts getting bought at $50. You know that's the price. So the sales are the information. That's the demand, right? So back to the barbecue place. He sells his ribs for $27. The market's about $22. He's lost a few people. Like I don't buy the slab. I'll buy the chicken and rib combination because it's $21, not the slab of ribs because it's $27. It's getting too much. And so I don't want to pay more for it. Well, believe me, half the people in there aren't going to pay for it if he goes to 35 or 40. So he can't force the market. So the information of sales will dictate his price is too high. So let's say he sells 1,000 slab of ribs a week at $27. So 27 times 1,000 is 27,000. We'll keep the math very simple. So he's making $27,000 a week, selling 1,000 slabs at 27. That's his sales, not his profit, but his sales, because he's got cost he's got to subtract. Now he raises it up to $35. Careful, your market's 27. You're going to sell 1,000 at 27. Now it's 35. What's happened to demand? Demand's gone to 100, right? 100 people will still buy it, but you've lost 900. That's the market telling you the demand for $35 slab of ribs is not there, right? You can't sell it at 35. There's no demand. So the price is too high. That's how you figure out prices, and that's how you figure out demand. So at 35, he sells 100 it's $3,500 versus 27,000. Well, wait a minute. 27,000 I can be in business. 3,500 I can't. There's no demand at that price. So I have to adjust price back down to get demand. I'm sure he's lost some at 27. He probably gets a lot more in chicken, and he raised his price on chicken from $9.99 to $13.99. wink, wink, as a way of kind of adjusting to, he probably loses a couple dollars on the ribs because it probably cost him, I'm sure his cost for the slab of ribs went up. And he's kind of stupid some ways because he's sitting there in the wet naps. You know how you eat barbecue and your hands get all sticky and barbecue-y, and then you get the wet nap, which is a wet cloth. It comes in a little, you open it up and then it's kind of a wet cloth and you wipe your hands and then use the napkins. So he's cut that out. I don't know what he's saving or what he thinks he's saving, but okay, that'll help you a little bit. And then he raised the price on the chicken a little bit. That'll help you a little bit. But if you notice, you're still going to lose money on the chicken because it was $9.99. And it will help you on the $4. That $4 will help you because chicken didn't go up. That'll help you on the $4 to offset the price of the ribs, maybe going from $20 to $25. And you really need to raise it to $30. But the demand at 30 won't be there. All right. So this is hardcore Austrian economics. But this explains everything going on, right? So why are houses not selling? Because you're raising interest rates. It's because of the inflation, right? So the inflation causes the interest rates to go up, not the Fed. The Fed does nothing to do with the Fed raising rates, does not raise interest rates on cars or houses. Maybe on credit cards, but not on cars and houses. That is strictly inflation. If you got rid of the inflation, you saw the last 5 years, I got a car at like 2%, I think. In 2018, my Camry was 2%. If I went to buy it now, it'd be 9%. Right. And the same thing. Well, I haven't bought a house in a while, but when I did, I think I was paying 3% on it. Now with inflation, it's 9% because the bank needs to get paid back in real dollars that are worth more than the inflated dollars he's sending out. So he's taking into inflation going, shit, if I loan out $300,000 for a house and I don't charge high enough interest rates, I'm going to lose money on the house. But then he's got to fight his market. Wait a minute. They want a $300,000 house. It's going to cost them $400,000. They're not even going to buy it. This is why that dump stocks will dump, because people are going out of work. People can't afford, and the prices that are going up because of the inflation, because the dollars are worth less, things cost more. Then go and you're not buying an iPhone for $1,500. You don't have the money for it. Apple sales drop, their earnings drop, their stocks drop, just like Tesla. Tesla lowered their car from 50 to 27. What are they doing? They're looking for information. First of all, nobody wants electric cars. Secondly, the few people that want them aren't going to pay $50,000 for them. So they don't really, I'm going to pay $50,000 and the battery's going to catch on fire. Probably not the way to spend $50,000. Go buy gold for the $50,000 and get an Uber and you'd be way ahead. So he's fighting no demand for electric cars, and he doesn't know what his price point is. At what price is my demand? Where's my demand at? Well, I tried $50,000. My demand was nothing. Now I'm down to 27.5, and he's hoping there's demand at 27.5, which means he's clearly losing money because obviously his cost at 50,000 made him 10 or 20% return on his investment. So his cost were probably 40,000 and he's selling it for 50, right? The fixed cost, the plant, he's into this AI bullshit. Well, good luck when the AI goes offline, good luck. Like, is the AI going to see something that the normal worker would see? This isn't, wait, this got stuck, but the AI is not going to see that. So, this isn't Terminator, right? Although that's kind of where they want to go, I guess. See, these movies come out, they want to go to Terminator, they want to go to, all this other bullshit. So Tesla's cost, let's say we're 40 if he's selling it for 50. And then he doesn't know what his market is. The market is the demand. So who wants this car? What is the demand for this car? He doesn't know. So if he doesn't know the demand for the car, what's he selling? right? So really that's what the whole key is. There's no demand for the car. I can't sell it at any price. So I need to know the price where I get the ultimate demand. So as I said, when the ribs were $27, he sells 1,000, he gets 27,000. If he goes to 26, does he get 1,100? If he goes to 25, does he get 1,200? What's his optimal? Now, obviously, the more he comes down, the more he sells, and you're looking at the total. So it's A times B equals C. What you're charging the customer versus how many customers buy it gives you total sales. And your job as a business is to get the maximum price to get the maximum quantity, which is based on what is the demand. Now, normally the lower the price, the more the demand. So as it goes up, you lose demand, but if you don't lose too much, you raise your price and your optimal goes up. That's the key to business. So that's what you're doing at business. And Tesla is clearly lost. They clearly are marketing their cars at 50,000. There's no demand. At 27,000 is their demand. There should be more demand than at 50, but you're trying to sell something there's no demand for in the first place, electric cars. And the more it comes out that their batteries catch on fire and they run out of power and there's no charging stations and you can't charge them at a condo or an apartment because they won't let you park them there because they catch on fire. There's just, this is like the digital dollar, right? We're going to come out with electric vehicles. We don't need such. So they pissed Saudi Arabia off to now join with China going, okay, you protect us and we'll take yuan instead of dollars. Done deal. What happens when the electric cars don't take off and nobody wants them because there's no demand for them in the first place? It's not like everybody said, geez, I'd like an electric car. Go make them. Like, I want a blue shirt. Go make it. And they make blue shirts and there's huge demand for it. Well, there is no demand for electric cars, but they're trying to force it down your throat. Then it doesn't happen because nobody cares, because you can't change. People want what they want, right? It's freedom. I want a Toyota Camry with gas. That's what I bought. So the market dictates what you buy. And now you pissed off Saudi Arabia. So what are you going to do for oil when you've just pissed off Saudi Arabia? Like, hello, anybody home, McFly? I mean, what are you thinking? And so that's what you have with this. Again, you're forcing everybody out of this into a gold-backed dollar, which is what China and Russia are having, is a gold-backed dollar. And that's what it is. So the demand for this is on, just like the demand for electric cars, right? Nobody wants an electric car. Price drops. Nobody wants this. They don't buy it. So we're in a marketplace, right, where people determine what they want to buy. I don't want to buy this. I'm Switzerland. I don't want this. I'm China. I don't want this. In Russia, I can't even do it because I'm sanctioned. Italy and Spain, they don't want it. England, maybe. Canada, maybe, because they're idiots. The rest of the world, Hong Kong, Switzerland, they don't want it. So nobody wants, so there's no demand. The price falls. And what do? They go buy gold because they know there's always a huge demand in gold. And the fact you're keeping the price down, just like you're selling the ribs for $5. Why are you selling the ribs for $5? So you get a lot of orders, but wait a minute, it costs you $7 or $8. Let's say it costs you $20. Why would you sell them for $5? And the cost of gold, I'm sure, is much higher than $2,000 an ounce. So you're basically trying to sell something. There's no demand for this. There's no demand for electric cars. So when we do go back to regular gas cars, where are we going to get the oil from? We just fucked Saudi Arabia over. They're not going to sell it to us, where it's going to be very expensive. And then everybody's getting out of this. There's nowhere to go. That's why I don't buy another currency. I don't buy rubles or yuan or British pounds, Swiss francs, or euros, because they're all going to zero, because they're all printing to death. Most of them now are printing to death to buy gold. They go, I don't care about my dollar. I want to buy as much gold at 2,000 an ounce. Thank you, COMEX, very much, which is not the demand. The price, the market for gold is much, much higher, but they're selling it here. But the demand's through the roof. You're selling the ribs for $5. So that's what gold is. Gold's $5 ribs, but the demand's through the roof. And you can get at least I'd say $20,000 an ounce for gold easily. I'm saying 50 as this goes out, but nobody wants this. There's no demand for electric cars. There's no demand for this. The next thing is the central bank digital currency. Everybody thinks they're going to shove down our throats. Well, they're not. If we don't want it, if the market doesn't want it, it doesn't happen. If nobody takes it and everybody ignores it and just keeps doing this, and we go to the businesses and the guy selling the ribs takes digital dollars, or he takes this or silver. As I know, he'll take silver. So I go there with silver. I go, give me my slab of ribs. Or I change my silver because it's now $1,000 an ounce and his ribs are $30. I then get whatever this new currency is going to be to get a medium of exchange to get food and clothes and sell my, pay my rent and utilities and buy my food and my gas, right? So that's what I'll do with the silver, but I'm not going to get into digital dollars. I don't want it. And if the market doesn't want it, it doesn't happen, because it only happens if the market wants it. And that's the power of the market. So that's why the housing market's crashing, because the market's like 300 grand, you got them at 500 grand. The market's $1 million, you're $1.5 million. Now you have where the market, on one of this show, he says, well, somebody bought a $2 million house is worth $1.2 million now. You want to go buy a $2 million house knowing that the value is dropping? Why would you want to buy something the value is dropping on? Well, we know it's dropping because the interest rates are up. Not because the house costs more, but the money to borrow costs more, because nobody has that kind of money. Very few, Warren Buffett and Gates and those idiots, which they won't have for long. So that's digital currency. If nobody wants it, nobody's going to get it. So that's kind of, it all goes back to the market, and it all goes. So when these guys use all their fancy words, oh, we're having a recession, of course we're having a recession. Things cost more. Of course the economy's slowing down, because if you make the ribs too expensive, nobody can buy them. Therefore, you can't pay your bills. Therefore, you go out of business. So of course that's a recession, is the economy slowing down. And what we're already in it. Don't kid yourself and think we're not in it. We're in it. Look at the housing market. And that contributes to all, like I said, the lumber, the refrigerators, the stoves, all the workers, the painters, the drywall people, the electricians, everybody involved with the house is getting laid off. And so therefore that whole industry, then Home Depot goes down and Lowe's goes down, because that's where they would go to buy it. They're not buying it. So now they're suffering. They can't sell their inventory. It's all about selling your inventory. That's what business is. My inventory is football picks. If nobody can afford to bet a game, I can't sell any. But I'm the salvation for most people, because I'm making you money that is not taxed. Let's not lose sight of that. So I'm making you money, and you're not spending a lot to make the money, especially if you buy the year. Like Nick buys the year. I think he pays like $600 for a whole year, 20 weeks. You're paying like $30, $40 a week for 600. Hell, it's a 1.25 a week. So in 6 weeks, Nick's already paid up. Right now, it's all gravy, right? Oh, good. I can go buy a Burrow card and a Mahomes card and buy some silver and gold with all the profit, because it ain't taxed. And so that's my inventory. I'm selling service. I'm selling information. Or I can sell Bellagio. I could go into the Canadian club business and sell that. But that's what businesses is: selling cars, selling houses, selling food, selling clothing. That's what business is. And you got to move your inventory. So the first thing you need is your market, which is based on price and demand. at what price do I get what demand? And as the prices go up, I lose demand. But if it multiplies out for more, it might behoove me to sell it for more and lose some customers. Like if he goes to 29 on the ribs, he's going to lose customers, but he might not lose that many. And at the end of the day, 29 times 900 versus 27 at 1,000, he might be better off raising it if he can still get 900. So my analysis with the rib guy is at $27, you got 1,000 customers. At 29, you got 900. If you go to 35, you're going to have 200. That's what I'm saying. You're going to get some, but not. You're going to lose a lot of customers. That's the market. That's what you got to understand that most people don't. It goes right over their heads. They can't connect the dots. So they'll sit there and, oh, well, we might be in a recession. As soon as you raise interest rates, you're in a recession automatically because the market cannot afford these increases that you're putting on. And if the restaurant doesn't make these increases, then they start going out of business or laying off because their costs went up. But if they can't raise the price, now you're not making as much. So why would I be in business? So that's why my advice to most of these smaller businesses are to get out of the business, buy gold and silver with your money, and just sit there and go on a vacation. I mean, you're going to be rich. What are you thinking? So that's why I just sit there and I don't understand people. I want to work 20 hours a day and do this and do that. And you're just like, fucking just buy gold and silver and just wait. That's what I'm doing. I bought gold and silver. I'm just waiting. I tell my girlfriend, we'll be buying an island soon. Very soon we'll have an island that we'll be living we'll be in some country living well. That's what you do. So you've got to be smart and go, nobody wants this. I better get the fuck out of it. And the only answer is gold and silver. That's why all the countries are doing it, right? What are all the countries doing? China. Oh, we got all the 40,000 tons of gold. Why? They're idiots. Gold has no value. You make your own conclusion into that, but that's what it is. But don't insult my intelligence by putting up and saying gold's down. That's derivative gold. You're so stupid. You don't understand the difference between derivative gold, which is fake printing of ounces that you don't have. So that'd be like me. Okay, I'm going to sell you 1,000 ounces of gold. Well, I don't really have the gold. I'm just going to do a derivative and sign it over to you. Oh, you want the gold? You want the actual physical? Oh, I don't have that. I'm not selling that. I'm selling a piece of paper that says you get 1,000 ounces of gold that you don't get. Who's buying this? Who in their right mind is buying it? And at what point is it finally going to end? Because it's already disconnected. It's already Russia, China are going around it, and it's just a matter of time till it's kind of blown up now. But when idiots like this guy here who doesn't quite understand what's this idiot's name? Original Fred. I get tired of these long things. I'll wait 50 more years. Well, you're not going to wait 50 more years because of BRICS. You don't understand the BRICS countries. So anyway, that was my comment. Now let me read it again. Why do you talk paper gold? Why don't you ask the real question, which is why the U.S. is blowing up the economy on purpose? That's the real question. My answer, I believe, is because China is running the U.S. and has the most to benefit. Why don't you talk about physical gold prices, Russia and China exchanges? You're both clueless and lack the brains to think, the professor. Why aren't you bringing this up? What are you saying? Oh, there might be a recession. Oh, the Fed's raising interest rates and it's going to cause a recession. Oh, fuck, we know that. You're not telling me anything I don't know. They've been raising interest rates for a year. I don't need to hear that they're raising interest rates because I know they're raising interest rates. Ask the expert. Okay, if you want to ask the expert, then have me on the show. Sprott Money. What a fucking joke. And no, I won't subscribe and I won't ask how do you ask the expert? They don't have the balls to do it live where you can go on. And I remember I went on one live and I just lit them all up going, what the fuck are you doing? Why aren't you talking about this, that, and the other? So All right, so let's see. All right, so where did I want to go? Now I want to show you an anomaly. I know where I wanted to go. So this is what I'm starting to look at. Houses in Spain. Do I want to live there? So I think me and Jenna are going to Spain for vacation soon. And we will look for houses there. Now, let's see. I did a search on this is inflation by country. Hate when it does that. So here's the inflation. So the first column is last. So the best place is Macau at 0.77. And then it goes to Spain. I don't know, like Oman, Niger, China's 2.1, which I don't believe. Hong Kong's 2.4. So the countries with gold don't have as much. Taiwan's 3.0. And then we'll get all the way down to, this is like college football. Who's the worst team? The worst team is Zimbabwe at 230. Venezuela. These are the heavy. These are the countries that are basically broke out. Zimbabwe 230, Venezuela 156, Syria 139, Lebanon 124, Argentina 98, Sudan 83, Turkey 57, they're out. Sri Lanka 50, we know they're out. Iran 46, Cuba, communist 42. Oops, it doesn't work there. Pakistan 31, where we know they're out. Ukraine's at 26. Nigeria 21, and Czech 17, Poland 17, Bulgaria 16, Montenegro 16. I know they have a good casino and poker room there, the James Bond movie. Serbia 15, Romania 15, Bosnia Herzegovina 14, Chile 12, Belarus 12, Russia 12, Sweden 11, Austria 11. They need more Austrian economists there. Iceland 10, the UK 10, Italy 10, European Union 10. So I wonder what's the difference between Italy and the European Union when they're both on euros. Georgia 9.4. So they got their own. They got a like state, and they got a country in Russia. Georgia, man, they're sly. Algeria 9, Kenya 9, Morocco 9, Germany 9, Peru 9, Euro area 9, Finland 8, Portugal 8. So that wasn't too bad. Spain, I think, is a little better. Trinidad and Tobago, not just Trinidad, 8. Mexico 8, Paraguay 8, Ireland 8, Australia 8. Costa Rica 7, the Netherlands 7, Amsterdam, New Zealand 7, Norway 7, Greece 7. Now Greece was heavy inflation, so now they're coming back again. I see. UAE, Dubai 7, Belgium chocolate 6, Singapore 6.6. India 6.5, US 6.4, which I doubt very seriously. France 6.2, Spain 6.1. All right, so I'm going to a pretty low inflation, although to me it's still high. Puerto Rico 6, Canada 6, Brazil 6, Switzerland 5.6. We need our guy to tighten that up there. The Bahamas 5, Israel 5, and let's see, Vietnam 4.3, Japan 4.3, Iraq, and Kansas City is at 2. They won the Super Bowl. They get us. Oh, here's Switzerland 3.3. Okay, so it was a different Switzerland, I guess. It was spelled a little bit funny. Hong Kong 2.4, Macau. So look at that. So I'm looking at Switzerland. So now when I go on a vacation to Europe, I have to look at their inflation, and I go, okay, what's where am I going? Now, is it going to have heavy inflation? Because I need to know that it's going to cost a lot more. So now I know it shouldn't cost too much there. And being retired is good because I can really go I can go on a Tuesday morning when it's $300 cheaper to fly there than going on a Friday, Saturday. All right, let's look at our gold price. Gold price was doing very well early. Let's check it out. Well, it's up $12. Now, what I know, okay, what I had noticed at first was the 10 o'clock didn't go down, but then I look at about 10:10 or 10:10, it did go down. It had the spike down. So it was at 1844 at like 10 minutes to 10. And at 10 o'clock, it's down to 1835, goes down $10, then comes back up to 1841, and then it's dropping to 1837. So I would have bought it about 1837 when it's starting to come up, and then you could get out at 1841. Not a big run. And then you can see it's kind of up and down right now. So that's gold right now, 1837. As we know, it's bullshit. And silver's at 21. And I only look at this to see if we can go buy some more. And we look at the Dow. The Dow's at 32,682, totally fixed. Let's listen to some. So we know there's inflation. We know the companies are going to get hurt. Layoffs, the housing market, the car market, going to cause the economy to slow down because less people working. If you have 100 people working, making $50,000, that's your economy. All of a sudden, if costs go up, and now you got 90 people working, or you got 90 people working, not 100. The economy went down, right? That's all. That's what a recession is, right? You had 100 people working at 50 grand. Now you got 90 people working at 50 grand because they're laying off because they can't handle the cost because the market won't pay the extra cost for the ribs that they need to pay. Let's listen to what they say. NBC says S&P 500 falls to start a new month of trading as yields extend their climb. Yields extend their climb. The Dow, the Investment Business Daily, Dow Jones falls on weak manufacturing data as Elon Musk readies for Tesla Investor Day. How exciting, Tesla Investor Day. We're going to go to AI. That's somehow going to save us money. Yeah, okay. Meanwhile, you need the AR people. But then what you need all these engineers and IT people to work the AI people when they malfunction, or need repair. You need to hire people to do that because they can't fix themselves. Market Watch, Dow's nearly 50-point jump led by gains in shares of Caterpillar and 3M. So they give you a very, very weird look. What they're just saying is, oh, look at Caterpillar went up and 3M. So Caterpillar, why would Caterpillar go up into higher interest rates and higher inflation? Why would you buy Caterpillar, right? It's a fixed asset, machinery and equipment type of company that's going to get killed. They're not. Why would you buy stock in that? It makes no sense because those costs are going to be there, but you're not going to make the product. So as you have equipment, you're not going to invest in equipment, and with higher interest rates, the costs go up. Stupid. The people can't be this stupid. Well, it's not the people, it's the communist Keynesians that are the money managers, and then the people trusting them are the idiots. Tech carried the stock market. Now they're taking it down with them. Oh, really? Tech? Really? Not the inflation? CNN, why the 2023 stock market rally may be over. Oh, it's over? Did it start? I didn't think it even started. Yahoo Finance, stock market news today. Stocks waver after key manufacturing data. So what the implication is people can't see A to get to B. right? Nobody can see A to get to B, and therefore they can't analyze the action and reaction. They wait till the news and they're going, oh wait, it's wavering because of manufacturing data. Well, higher interest rates is going to make the manufacturing data go down. You're going to have less cars and houses because higher interest rates cost more. The market's here. You're trying to sell it over market. You're not going to do it. The only way to be in business is you have to figure out what your market is and sell it at market. You cannot start going over market, right? If I started selling my football picks on a weekly basis for $500, I'd get no buyers. Who would buy from me? It's over. Well, mine's a little bit unique, so I really shouldn't say that because people would still. I think I have some pretty serious bettors. One guy makes 10 grand on me and gives me a $200 bonus, so he's making some money. But so I think we have that. But I think that's really the key is those type of people. But generally, no. My market's on 1.25 and. Well, let's go back to Hiram Walker because it's more of a product. So if I'm trying to sell this, if my market's $50, I'm trying to sell it for 60, it isn't going to sell as much. So therefore, if I know inflation's coming and I know I have to raise the price, I should be selling the stock then, not waiting for the news. Like, oh, is it going to be a surprise Ford misses their earnings or GM or Mercedes or Toyota? Will it be a surprise that with higher interest rates and inflation, so my costs are up, that I'm going to make less money? No, the inflation and the higher interest rates are going to kill the car companies. So why would you buy Ford or why would you wait until they actually have their earnings to sell it? Are you hoping the earnings will still be there, even though it costs them more to make a car, even though it costs you more to buy the car? Are you out of your freaking mind? You can't put two and two together. This is why I sold stock a year ago, because I saw this coming. Because what causes inflation? When you print the money to death. What did Biden do? He prints $10 trillion. That's the action. Everything else comes off of that, right? He's making this worth less. The first thing I did is I took 70,000 out of the bank and bought gold with it and silver. That's the first thing I did. I got out of the market because it can't keep going up when the company's costs are going up. And then if they try to pass it on to the consumer, the market won't allow it. So if you understand the market, you understand you can't raise the cost. I can't charge $40 for ribs. I'll be out of business. And that's what I told the guy. And he's still in business and his ribs are still $27. He gets it. When I come in, he comes up to me and shakes my hand. And I tell him, and he went and bought some gold and he's got some silver. And he keeps thinking, when is it going to go up? And I keep telling him it's going up when it's going to go up when when BRICS starts coming out with money backed by gold. That's got to raise the gold price. No matter what COMEX does, they can't stop so the U.S. has been stopping countries from going on the gold standard. Zimbabwe kind of broke that when they came out with this gold ounce, and the U.S. wanted them to stop, and they said, fuck you, we're going to do it anyway because our inflation's too high. And the only way to save our country is to print gold. If you want to kill us, kill us. And now you're dealing with Russia and China, where the U.S., they are not going to kill them. They don't have the capability of killing Putin and Xi, so they're not going to. So now here comes the gold-backed currency, which will open the door. Everybody else piling in, which makes nobody wants. Boom, zero. Again, you only have a market if there's demand, and it's told by price. So if I mark this is $50, and I got demand here. If I raise this to 100, demand drops. If I lower this to 10 and I don't have demand at $10, no demand, I can't sell the product. Nobody wants it. So that's your electric cars. That's your CB, central bank digital currency. That's what dictates everything. It's the market. And this is why you need capitalism, is the market. The prices and the demand dictates. So the price dictates if you have demand, and the demand and the price dictates if you can make money at it, which dictates if you should make it or not. In a communist world, it's run by the government. So they will dictate, okay, the ribs are $35. Nobody's going to buy them because the market is not being made. It's being made by the government, not the individual. We make the market. That's the beauty of capitalism. It's us making the market. We're determining the price, and we're determining if we want it or not. That's capitalism. So in a communistic world, in Russia, what does my friend say? She says, oh, they just raised the price on milk and bread, and my rent went up. That was the government. And then she said, but I didn't get a raise. So even her raise is dictated from the government, not from maybe she works for the government. That could be. She says she works at a store. Maybe she sells clothes. I don't know. So that could be why she can't. Maybe that's why she can't, get a raise if she works for the government and they're not giving out raises. But the government's controlling the market, and it's impossible. And that's why I ditch at Keynesians and MMT people. They don't understand anything. The government cannot run the market. Gold is the key because there's always a market for gold. That's why gold is not zero. That's why the $2,000 gold, the demand is here, is what I show you, right? The market for gold is way up here. The demand for gold and silver, Bobby, is here. It's huge. That's your demand. So with that said, because that's the demand, the price should go here. So if the demand for ribs goes up, you raise the price, and then you fiddle with the price to get that break even. Well, why isn't gold done? So everybody knows gold's cheap, but everybody demands gold. So at 2,000, you would think you wouldn't have a demand for it, but you do. And if people tell me, well, it's all based on supply and demand, and I'm like, you're out of your fucking mind. It's not based on supply and demand. Oh, see, gold doesn't move. See, why do people even think like that? It just, I can't even the concept of people just sitting there going, yeah, gold's 2,000 an ounce. It's not going anywhere. It's not price fixed. It blows my mind how it's so easy to see. And again, I'm an INFG. I see these things. Most people don't. I see Kansas City win the Super Bowl. Most people don't. I see the over in the Georgia TCU game. Maybe most people don't. I don't know. I did hear on BetMGM, one guy liked the under in the Georgia TCU game. I almost drove off the road. Again, I get the concept of defense. I get the concept of gold. There is no option. This is collapsing because they're printing it, right? So we know why they're printing it. We know there's 31 trillion in debt, which is like 61 trillion. Because you owe Social Security, Medicare, and other obligations to other countries. So it's really much more like 60 trillion. Doesn't matter. So what you have is no demand. Why would anybody want this, right? There's so much debt in it. So the only out is gold and silver. And if Russia comes out with a gold-backed currency, well, we can't buy it anyway. We're sanctioned, but we can buy yuan, I believe. So we can buy, and then that's going to force the gold price up because the gold price has to go over the 2,000 an ounce because it can't, because they need the gold price up if they're going to back the dollars by gold. So that forces gold up, but it should be up higher anyway. If you didn't keep the price of ribs at $3 with the demand through the roof, you would raise, any business would raise to meet demand. So that's really what you have. And that's sort of, it's such a no-brainer to realize gold. So that's where the demand is. So the market is in gold and not in this. So it's very easy to see. But why don't these morons talk about it? The morons don't, they're just, how long is so they changed the subject, which makes me believe they're Keynesians and or paid by the government to say, well, will the government keep raising interest rates? Who cares? That's like me not knowing what a blockchain is. Who cares? it's meaningless because I don't believe in Bitcoin because it's not backed by gold. It's not money. It's not exchangeable. I don't. It's like Digimon cards. I don't care. I collect Mickey Mantle. I don't collect, Digimon cards. But it's okay that they're out there and you can collect them. But I don't. I couldn't name a character on Digimon, right? That's about the same thing as blockchain. I don't care about blockchain because it doesn't. It might be a neat thing. It's a computer thing. It's a software. It's a programming thing. But you can't just make money because you want it to be money. It has to be accepted, and it's not a country thing. It's anywhere, right? So if I'm in Spain, I could get Bitcoin. What am I going to do with it? Then how do I get the money? I'll sell a Bitcoin so I can live in Spain for have a vacation there. How do I do it? Where do I get the money? Do I walk into a bank in Spain and say, hey, I got a Bitcoin? No. I mean, they don't take it. I got to find somebody who takes it. So how do I get the money for the Bitcoin? That's the question. Do I take it out? Do I have a bank account associated with it? So I deposit it in my bank, but they're not taking Bitcoin. They don't have a value for it. They can't say it's 23,000. So I'm going to give you $23,000. I don't know. This is the problem. It's too complex and it doesn't make sense. And there's no market for it, right? What's the market for Bitcoin? I don't know. Is 23,000 right? So I asked the guy at the pool. He says, well, it's supply and demand. I go, what do you mean supply and demand? What's the market? What are you going to pay for Bitcoin? What am I going to pay for gold? Good question. So you come back at me with that. And I'm going to say, I got to get out of this. I'm going to buy gold until I can't. So if it's 2,000 an ounce, I'm going to buy it. The market is being determined not by me. I'm determining how much I can buy. But if the market's 2,000 and I believe it's low, I'm going to buy it at 2,000 because I know, I want to get out of this. So that's the first reason I'm buying it. So it's a unique thing, not really a market. I'm not really buying because I want a blue shirt. I didn't really buy this because it was $2.50 an ounce. I basically bought it because this was a graduation present. But when I buy gold, I'm getting rid of paper is why I'm buying gold. There really isn't a market. I know the value is much more than 2,000, so I'll buy it. When it hits 50,000, will I buy it? I'll buy it with silver probably, but that's the problem. But is there a market for this? No, you get paid in this and you pay your bills in that. So this isn't really a marketable thing. That's why it's a medium of exchange. It's getting paid. So your market is what your value is at work. So I'm a senior financial analyst. My market's 100,000. If you want to pay me 70,000, go fuck yourself. You want to pay me 110, I'll be happy to take it. But I'm about 100,000. That's the market for my skill set. And I implore that the more you have to ingrain your skill set to make more money. When I hear people working 2 or 3 jobs, my thought is go get a fucking better skill set. What are you doing? I have a friend here and she's works at a restaurant. She works at a hotel as a cleaning lady, whatever. Says, I'm so tired of that. I go, well, get a skill. Well, you didn't go to school. Now you know why you go to school. You need to get a skill, but what do you like to do? I said, do what your passion is. Mine's this. So that's what I do. Really, that's what you need to do. You need to see what the skills are paying. And that's what you do is go get maybe you don't like law. I don't like law. I'm not a big medicine guy. I went into finance, but I really enjoy analyzing. Problem is when people don't listen because I'm an INFG, most of these finance people are morons. They just don't get me. That's usually the problem I have. But I get into Mercedes was a very good place, for example, to work. So that's what you're trying to find. Is there a market for this? No, the market's for you, and that they pay you in this, and then you take that and you invest it and you pay your bills off. And gold isn't really the market is to buy gold because of this, but what is I would say I'd probably go up to like 10,000 and buy an ounce of gold, right around there. after that, I'd be buying half ounces or quarter ounces, right? So if gold's 20,000, I'll probably buy quarter ounces at 4,000. That's why I buy as much as I do now, because I can get a quarter ounce of gold for 500. That is not going to stay around. That's going to go much, much higher. So that's why I continue to buy. And then I buy the silver at 25 an ounce, because I know that's not going to, you're not going to see under 2,000. It'll go to the 666, the guy said, or 1,000. It'll eventually creep to 2,000. And are you going to buy it there? And that's why silver will go up faster than gold, is cheaper, right? But you really want to be in gold. So I can see what I'm going to do is probably take, 8 ounces, give me an ounce of gold, and go take 100 ounces and go buy as much gold as I can as silver's climbing, and to get into more gold. As they say, it's the gold standard, gold's king. Silver is nice, but gold is gold. Silver does wear out. Now, Bobby, don't worry. You can still be, silver's fine, but I would use silver to buy gold as silver goes up, and or buy, you're going to trade it in to pay your bills with, or, if we need to eat, we're going to trade it for money. There will be a new currency. This will go to zero. The digital currency from central bank is 10 years. It'll never happen in the U.S., but okay. But in most of the world, it's 2030, maybe 2026, but I think 2030. And as I read you, a new euro coming out 2024, a new yen coming out 2024, where they're just painting a new picture on it and saying, here's new dollars. They won't say the other lost its value, and then they'll say you can exchange your euros at some point this year for the new euros. And if the new euros aren't backed by gold, they're the same shit that's out there. So they're going to try to scam you and Madoff you into believing the new currency actually has a value that it doesn't, because it's still going to be backed by nothing. Until it's backed by gold, the currency is worthless. Don't ever forget that. So let's see. So on Google, I like looking at the stories. How do you get to Google? Okay. So let's see what we got on Google. Update Wednesday. Widespread power outages, cancellations, and delays. Thousands of motherlode PG&E customers are without power this morning. These are... Where the fuck is this? I want to say it's in Australia, it looks like. Sonora, Jamestown. I don't think there's a Jamestown. Netflix cancels 3 TV shows. Gives a shit. Russia now launching Iranian drones from Bryansk region closer to Kiev, British intel. So this is what the drone looks like, apparently. Again, the war, like now Russia's got to use Iranian drones. What happened to all their weapons? Oh, they need gold to go up. Ancient DNA reveals disparate fates of Ice Age hunter-gatherers in Europe. What are we going back to the Ice Age? Easiest vegetables to grow. The top 5 garden veggies most recommended by experts. I wonder why they're coming out with that story in the middle of all this, because they keep telling people to grow your own food. Yosemite National Park closed after winter storm dumps 15 feet of snow. What the fuck's got 15 feet of snow? Oh my God. Russia growing its nuclear submarine fleet for Ukraine naval battleground. That's not good news. Russia with nuclear. I don't know who that is. All right, so there's not really much there. So I think after this, I'm going to go start doing the college bath. Now the brackets aren't out yet because they got to have. I think this weekend they will do the basketball tournament. They'll do like the conference who wins the Big Ten and the Big East and everything. I don't even know why they do it. I don't think anybody who wins the tournament is already in the playoff. I don't help me out here. So now it was 64 teams. Now they have playoff games to get in to be number 65 and 66. And instead of making it a 70-team tournament, they say 64, and we're going to have these play-in games to get in. So now there's really there's 4 or 5 play-in games. So now there's like 72 teams in the tournament because a one-game playoff is the same as the first week of 2 playing 15. It's a one-game playoff. What is that? And why is that? And I think it's hockey has it too, where there's playing games, or I think basketball. What is that? Well, so why don't you just put everybody in the playoffs? Don't reward the regular season. Everybody makes the playoffs. What's with the play-in games? Why do they deserve a play-in game, especially in the NBA and hockey? Either, hockey wild cards. What is that? No, your top 16 teams are in, or whatever it is. Same thing in basketball. You got 8 teams in each division. Why do you need 10 teams in each division? Oh, it makes more money. Then why don't you have the whole league in the playoffs? This is what I don't understand. So just put everybody's in the playoffs. This will be like socialism 101. We don't reward the really good teams. And if you're really bad, we give you a little badge for trying. And the whole league is in the playoffs because we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, and we'll make more money because then it'll give some more home games for, the Pistons with 5 wins can now be in the playoffs and have 6 people come to the games, and they can make more TV money that nobody's going to watch because they suck. You got to reward the good teams. This is where we're going socialist, right? You're not rewarding the better teams. You're adding teams that shouldn't even be there, that didn't make it. So you got the top 8 teams. Now you're adding 10 teams, but you're not putting them in the play. You're doing this play-in game to get into the playoffs. No, they didn't qualify. It's who qualified. What are you doing? I mean, it's the top 8 teams, so there's competition, and you're trying to be one of the 8. Well, you came in 9th, so we're going to give you a playoff game, a play-in game or whatever. What the fuck is that? I mean, that's socialism, right? That's a participation trophy because my little girl played softball, and she came in last place, but she gets a participation trophy. You're not rewarding the kid. You're punishing the kid because you're actually saying, well, you played and you sucked and you didn't win, so we're going to give you a trophy for sucking because the teams that won in the playoffs get first, second, and third place trophies. So we kind of are rewarding the first team, but we don't want them to feel bad. Well, let them feel bad. Maybe they'll work harder and get better next year, and they won't be last place because they want the trophy. That's the point. You want the people to work hard to get it. Example, Michael Jordan, right? What was his 9th grade? Doesn't make the team. So he works really hard in the off season, and then he becomes a star in 10th grade. But if he would have, we'll let him sit on the bench. We'll let 30 guys sit on the bench. And then he can sit there and go, oh, I'm on the bench, da-da-da-da-da. He never would have been Michael Jordan because there would have been no competitiveness to get better because he would have made the team so everybody can make the team. That's the problem. That's how you get greatness, is by getting cut and then coming back on and going, fuck, I better do better. Bobby's not here. We could ask the same stories. Did you did you make your high school team? Did you make your Pony Colt team? Was there a point where you didn't make it, so you worked really hard? I'm sure Bobby has those. I'm sure when he didn't get called up to the Pirates and the Mets, he probably got pissed off, and then he really worked hard, and then he became the 4-hitter. And, but that's the story. It's pissing the people off so they do better. That's what it's all about, not making everybody feel good. But that's socialism, right? Everybody's even. Well, it doesn't work. That's what the communist is saying to me at the hot tub when we were talking last week. We talked one time. So he brings up like even pay, and the CEO shouldn't make all the money. It should go to the workers and da, 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 da. And I'm like, no, you need incentive to work and be good. I went to college. My incentive was to pass and get my degree. And then with the degree, I get rewarded because now I have a master's in finance. And now when I get hired, I make $20,000 more because I got my master's. Now I was pretty shrewd. I was working at a company, not making a lot, but they offered education. And so I stayed at the company, even though the pay was not the greatest, to get my master's paid for. All I had to do was pay like for books, or I don't even think I had to pay for registration. I had to pay like $500 a semester, and they picked up the rest. Now this is in the mid '90s, before college was $100,000 a term. College was probably, very low. Maybe it was 2,000 or 3,000, I think. Now in my master's program, you were taking 2 classes a term, right? I took 2 classes in fall, 2 in the winter, and maybe 1 in the spring. I remember I was in Vegas, and I was studying for a cost accounting final or something. I remember doing that in Vegas. I'm in Vegas doing this. But I got an A and I passed, and now I don't remember. I keep getting calls for cost analyst positions. I don't, it was in a book 20 years ago. The book's in Alabama. Not that would help me, but normally, see, when I go to work, I expect somebody's there to train me. Like we're doing that. Like I'm not the inventor of it, right? So Joe's working there now doing it. So when I get there, I expect to see work with Joe or somebody or Joe's manager. Here's what we need to do. And I go, oh, okay, I can get anything very easily, but I can't just figure it out. Right. So that's what I expect when I go in. And when I don't get that, I don't do well at the job because I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? Yeah, it says on your resume. Yeah, well, that's what happens at Ford is not what happens at GM, and it's not what happens at Mercedes. It's all different. So the fact that I worked at Ford does not help me at GM or at Mercedes. It helps me get in going, wow, you worked at Ford. But when I worked at Mercedes, it was a total different animal than Ford. Much better. Ford's a bunch of basically idiots working there. As you can see from the football team, they're clueless. Anyway, so that's really what you're looking at. So when we look at, so we'll get into the end, we'll get into the college. First, we'll get into the college bracket, and we're going to see if the A teams win the title. My bet is they will. I bet the A teams will beat the over teams. Maybe you'll have an under team, but they'll probably advance. So probably the upsets happen by the under teams, right? They give up 40 points a game. They score 50, and they'll beat the team that scores 90 but gives up 70, right? That's how it is in football. That's where your upset happens, is the strong defensive team. I remember what it was, Harvard or Princeton or that Ivy League team every year would win first couple of games because the defense, I think it was Princeton, right? They'd take 5 shots a game and they'd win 21-20. And it was the defense, or really the offense playing the defense, because it would just dribble the ball out. So really that's what you have. So we'll take a look at that, and I'll present that once we get the bracket out, I'll just go through all, I don't even know, what is it, 68 teams, 72 teams, 84 teams. I do it in college football. So I think what I'll do is use the format because it's all linked, right? I bring in the scores, which then links it into the other part of the spreadsheet. So I think I'm going to do it in Excel, and this doesn't have Excel on it. Don't ever buy a Google Chrome computer. It's a piece of shit. So that's what I'm going to do. So I think I'll go to the library, take file. That's the beauty of the disk. Plug it in, download it, and off I go with it. Download the teams, although there's more. I think there's more than 130. There's 130 college football Division I. I want to say there's more basketball because you got like the Belmonts and all the racetrack colleges and the Ivies and everything else in it. So, but it shouldn't matter. I just copy it over. And then really all I'm looking for is the scores, right? So I download the points. Now in football, I bring down the quarterbacks too. Well, I don't care about the quarterbacks. There's no quarterbacks in basketball. So I download the teams, and then I'll download the teams, and then I'll bring in points. I'll go after this column and that column, get the points in, and then I'll just subtract it out, and then I'll see by what the general points are. Oh, they're an 8. They score 90 and give up 30. They're my 8 teams, and I'll just walk my way through it, and that'll give us a sense. Now, I've never done college basketball like I do college football, but I guarantee you it should work. It's not only for football. It's the concept of the defense will shut the offense. And I saw the Pistons, and I saw Jordan against the Pistons, and they'd play 60-point games with Michael Jordan. I saw Boston play Chicago, and Chicago had no defense, and Jordan would score 60, and Boston would win 130-99. So, Chicago obviously didn't have a defense. The Pistons had a great defense. So when the Pistons played the Bulls, they would win the game 79-71. They'd play 70-point games, which is fine. You made a fortune on the unders. So you just find the team, but the defense beats the offense in every sport. The pitcher wins in baseball, the defense in football, the defense in basketball, and in hockey. I was watching a Bobby Orr thing, and why didn't you win in 71? He said, well, we ran into Ken Dryden with the Canadians. And if you notice, they didn't play in 72. They didn't play the Canadians, and I don't think they played them in 70. So that was their Achilles heel because of the defense could stop Orr, but they didn't have to play him. So they were fine. So Dryden, they ran into a hot goalie defense. Montreal won. So it's every sport, the pitcher, the goalie, defense, and then the defense in basketball. So that's what we bet on. And that's what we've stumbled on by asking the questions. When I make a bet, why did I lose? Normally I lose because of turnovers, right? I lose because, pick a game. So San Francisco loses to Atlanta because they just played Carolina and they stayed on the East Coast. And then they go and they play. And what happens? They got turnovers. Garoppolo sucks. Throws some pick sixes or whatever. And then Atlanta wins. So why did I lose? Because of the turnovers. Again, because of Garoppolo. Even though I had the best defense, if you turn the ball over, it doesn't really matter. So that's why I lost that pick, which made me go, okay, that was still a good pick. I bet the defense. Better be careful when a team goes East Coast 2 weeks in a row or West Coast. We did the same thing. I don't remember who it was. They played Frisco and they played Seattle. And I remember taking Seattle because they stayed on the West Coast. I don't know if it's the Giants or whatever, but they played Frisco, went to play Seattle, and Seattle beat them. Because, again, they were staying on the West Coast. So I'm starting to going like, okay, teams that have to stay on the East Coast for 2 games or West Coast probably need to bet against them the second game. They're not as strong. It doesn't matter with teams like Chicago, Kansas City, Detroit. They're kind of in the middle. So Kansas City, most than likely, if they go West Coast, they go play San Diego, they're going to fly home. If they go play Baltimore, more than likely, they're going to fly home, or Buffalo. So it's really East Coast goes to the West Coast or West Coast to the where it's too long of a flight to go back and forth because they got to go back the next week. So if KC plays San Diego and then they got to go play Oakland, it's not a big deal. They'll fly home and then fly out again. Because for KC, most of the cities are halfway. And maybe that's the big edge for them, being in the playoffs all these years. They're in the middle. They don't really have that long plane ride unless they go to Europe. Thank God the Super Bowl wasn't in Germany. I'm waiting for, we're going to go play the game in China. We're going to play the Super Bowl in China next year. Oh, my God. Could you imagine? The players would never get out. So that's what we have. So be careful with the sanctions. You're buying the gold because we really don't have a market price in gold. We know 2000's too low, but we know it's much higher. So that's just be aware of the market being here and the price being there. Hey, Bobby Bo, how are you? I brought your name up a few times. Metals are fine. They're cheap. Buy. Gold's actually up like $10 today, and silver's up 25. Silver's up $21. So we had a nice conversation about markets. Basically, there's a few idiots that I watched on YouTube that I talked about where they still don't understand what a recession is. These are sprout guys who are the biggest scammers in the world, telling you to buy ETFs when that's basically Madoff scam Ponzi. ETF's not going to help you. It's not real gold. So I've been talking about that. What else? So get into college basketball. I'm going to grade the teams out. I think I'll go to the library right after this. Talked about markets a lot. We're like a recession, and I'm saying, well, cars and homes are not going to sell. So here's the best way I described a recession, Bobby. You got 100 people working, making $50,000, right? And if now you have 90 people working, making $50,000, you're in a recession, because 100 times 50,000 versus 90 times 50,000 is less. So therefore you have less workers. So your economy dropped, or that's your economy, right? So if the quantity drops, then of course you're in a recession, it's hard to figure because of all the different little markets we have, computers, cars, homes. So things drop in one, not the other. But in the cars and homes, they're definitely dropping because of the interest rate going up, because of the inflation, not because of the Fed. I mean, and then I was talking about like Humpty and Dumpty, these guys on Sprout, they were like clueless, right? We'll be in a recession. It'll be tough. It'll be like 1930. Dudes, it's not going to be anything like 1930. It's going to be 20 times worse. But if we have gold, it doesn't really matter. I mean, gold's the key. Once we get into it, you're protected. So that was my whole spiel on that. So you'll see that in the first half hour. I made some interesting comments on their site. I told them that they're clueless, and not in so clean of words, that they're freaking idiots. They keep talking about the Fed raising interest rate. Who gives a fuck? It's like the blockchain. Do we really care? No, we don't really care about Bitcoin because it's not money. It's like collecting, Chicago Bull cards. Do we give a fuck? No. I mean, that's basically what blockchain is. We don't care. It doesn't matter. We're not into Bitcoin. It's not money. And if I'm going to invest, I'm buying Mantle cards or Bobby Bull cards. I am not buying Bitcoin because I don't hold it. If I walk in, if I have the Mantle card or the Bobby Bull card in my hand, I have it. If I have gold in my hand, you can't fuck with me. If it's on a fucking internet, you can fuck with me. You could delete it like that one guy did, that Jim the Anvil Neidhart guy, and then you're fucked. So I'm not touching that shit. I'm scared of the internet anyway, that it's all being used and abused and everything else, and they're all spying on us. What the fuck do I want to be in Bitcoin for when they're spying on us? Anyway, so that's kind of what was going on. So I'm going to go to the library and do 150 teams of college basketball to see how they grade out. So I think I'm going to do that after this. What else? I got my Social Security letter that everything's fine, which I kind of knew because I got paid. I got my license tab because my birthday's next week, and that's fine. I got my W-2 so I can do my taxes, and then I'm going to play around with my IRA that I pulled, and I'll see how much I report, and I'll just say, I thought I missed the zero. Oops, sorry, and then let them catch me, and then I'll have to go on a payment, so 2 years later I'll start paying on it. And by then, hopefully the gold price is up, and then I'll go from there. Anyway, so that's what is going on. Well, there you go, Bobby. Learn from me, Bobby. No communist at I think the communist was at the pool, but I didn't. We just look away from each other. It's too repulsive to actually talk to a communist. By the way, what's at the library for Cobb CBB? What? Oh, college basketball. No, I'm just going to take the stats I'd use for football. So in football, I use the stats. I use points for, points against to come out with the team that the Kansas City scores 30 a game, gives up 20 a game. I make them an over team, or they give up like 22. And I look for the A team, and like Georgia's the A team in college. They score 40 points a game. They give up 10. And then I get Iowa State scores 20 and gives up 8. They're the under team, as is Iowa, Washington State, Oregon State, teams like that. And then I see the TCUs, the Oregons, the Washingtons, the Utah, the UCLAs, the USCs, who score 45 and give up 25. And so by looking at the numbers, I'm able to say, UCLA is an over team. They're going to score 45 a game, but they're going to give up against a good team 35, 40. It's going to be an 80-point game. I can see it. And then if the over-under is 60, I go, let's bet, let's go bet 5 ounces of gold on the game going over. So I'm going to do that in college basketball. I'm going to find the high-scoring teams that have the good defense, or the over teams, or I'll look for the Georgias, I'll look for the Iowa States, and I'll look for the UCLAs. And then we can start talking about the bracket, but I know it comes out after this weekend's tournament games, which I can't figure out why the Big Ten still has a Big Ten tournament. What the fuck is what's the point of the regular season? And I've yet to see a team win the tournament really get benefited in the NCAA tournament. So you win the Big Ten, you should be a 1 seed. No, they're a 7 seed. Then what was the point of the tournament? Maybe one team gets the upset and gets in from winning the conference out of 52 divisions. It's ridiculous. But why the library? Well, I don't have Excel on my computer, so it makes it. I want to work in Excel. I don't like this Google Chrome. I work in it a little, but I think doing formulas and everything, I could go much, much faster. And it's right next to the pool. So I think I'm going to go there, bring my disk. So I have my file. I'll change the football, rename it to basketball. And then I can just go and download out of Yahoo the stats, do some formulas to put them in, and it'll take me 20 minutes as opposed to dicking around here in Google Chrome. As I said, don't get Google Chrome. Google Notes is absolutely – I've been doing Lotus 123 Excel for 25 years, since the 90s. I got it down blindfolded. But when I go into Google Chrome, I'm like, how do I do something? And it's not intuitive, and the icons aren't lining up, and it's like, what the fuck? So I'm okay for football. I can go to Yahoo and copy it, and I have all my formulas set up. But to do a whole new file, no, I don't. I'm not gonna try to do it on Google Chrome. It'll just take me too long, and I don't mind. Like I said, it's right next to the pool. It's the whole city thing. So I'll just go there, and I don't mind. I'll get out and I'll do that. So I talked to Jenna today. So I think we're going to go to Spain probably in the next month. I said she knows my birthday's March 7th, so that'll be my birthday present. We'll be spending a week or so with Jenna. Then I have to go on, and I went on the inflation tab. So I showed that earlier. So Spain's inflation is 6%. So now when you travel abroad, you have to be wary of the inflation to see, so it's only 6%, which is good. The best is Macau at like 2%. And the worst was like Zimbabwe is like 150%. And I don't believe that. I think it's much higher. But a lot of the African countries were high, and Turkey's 56%, and Greece is only 20. See, but you can't believe the numbers. I don't believe the U.S. is at 6%. I believe it's higher. So it's just going to be now the hotel. I'm waiting a month so that way we don't have to worry about if we have heat and electricity in it. And then I'm going to bring an ounce of gold with me for my own safety. If the shit hits the fan while I'm there and then they won't take US dollars, I'll have gold, not Bitcoin. So if I'm in Spain and I need money, I ain't going. That's my bitch about Bitcoin. Would I be able to then transaction Bitcoin and get the money? And if it's in US dollars and the US dollar goes to shit, I'm really fucked. But if I got gold, I can go to a gold store and switch and get my euros, and off I go. So it is protection. Or if it happens at the airport or wherever, I'll bring like a quarter ounce or something, not a whole ounce. But okay, I hear you. That makes sense. I actually don't have Excel on this particular CPU either. I used to. Well, they start charging for Excel. Like it's I don't know, like $50 a month. Look at Gates, man. What a criminal. Oh, well, yeah, I know it was free. Now I'm going to start charging for, what is it, Excel 360. I think it's like $25 or $30 a month. Like, you got to be kidding me. I should have kept my old computer. It was a desktop that had Excel on it. I wouldn't need this. What a joke. It's funny. I do have an old Excel. I have an old Microsoft program. So I have Microsoft Office 2003. And so if I had a desktop that I could put it on, I already have Excel, but I shouldn't have thrown out my desktop. The professor is flying out. No, I don't think next week. My birthday's next week. I get paid on the 8th, but really that's going to be for April's rent. So my Social Security is really rent, gas, and the utilities. The girls are kind of out of my pocket. And I keep kind of telling them, like, Daria needs implants. And I said, well, I can give you a little bit, but let me just wait till gold and silver goes up. Then I can, then I can give her $1,000 if my silver's 2,000 an ounce. But right now it's hard to, because I don't know how long I need to wait before I cash in my gold, because I don't want to cash it in now at these low prices. The longer I can wait with my money, then the better it is. Now I do have money, and I have money in the safe and money in my IRA that I might have to pull that too before I lose it. Right? That's the question. Am I going to lose the money in my IRA account? And listening to Egon and Alistair, if they get out of the bank, get out of the fiat system, right? So I might have to soon empty my IRA and then just put that in the safe. And then if we switch currencies, then I just switch it to the new currency or buy more gold with it. But I need money because I'm not getting enough in on Social Security. I'm getting enough in to live. It's some credit cards and the girls that I'm getting a little bit over with. So it's not terrible. And but I think again, the gold and silver should move quickly soon, and then that'll take care of all that. So again, and I want to keep buying silver. Silver's at 21 today, Bobby. So that means you can buy them for 24, 25 an ounce. It's insane. Really, I was talking about markets and the ribs again. And so what is the market? So in other words, the market for ribs are 27 an ounce, as 27 a slab. And so the guy can sell it there. But if the guy goes to $40 a slab, nobody's going to buy it, right? So he's fucked. He's got to lower it to market, or he's going to make it and nobody's going to buy it. I don't know what this is for gold. I know the demand's huge, and I know, like, let's look at silver. $25 an ounce, the demand's through the roof. I don't know what that price is. I assume if it was $2,000 an ounce, you'd still be way up here because people would realize its value. And that's what I keep trying to teach is as this is 25, demands, it's way up here. As it goes to 100, it's still here. At 500, it actually goes higher because more people then get in realizing, oh shit, silver really is valuable. I'm going to keep going. So all I can tell you is, well, China and Russia have so much. Obviously, it's valuable. Or why would they get out of this to go to gold unless they know gold's got a value and they know gold at 2,000 an ounce is so cheap that it's ridiculous, and silver too. So I don't know if this is 5,000 an ounce silver, or now I don't buy it. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it's I need to own the silver and I need to own the gold, and I don't care what it is. It's as much as I can afford to buy. So silver could be 5,000 an ounce. Are we still buying it? Probably. As I said, when gold hits 50,000 an ounce, probably not buying an ounce, but I'm probably buying a quarter ounce at 10,000 or a tenth. I'll probably buy a tenth of an ounce. That's why I buy everything now. The last thing I want is to fucking not buy more now, and it goes to 50,000, and I go, fuck, I could have bought another 10 ounces for, I could have bought 25 ounces for the ounce I'm going to pay for 50,000. That's why I'm like screaming to buy it now, because when it gets to that and you want to now buy it at 50,000 an ounce, you'll kill yourself because you'll be so pissed off that you missed the boat, because we realize what's really happening. See, most people think gold at 2,000 is, that's it. It's not going up. I'll get into Bitcoin because it's going up, but I won't get into gold. And nobody's getting into this. This is the fat, ugly lady going out. And the only place you can go to replace this is gold and silver, not Bitcoin. But that's what it is. So people don't understand it. That's why I made some negative comments. I'll show you these comments. You'll love them. On this one guy. These are Sprout guys. I tore him a new asshole because I said, you guys don't know what you're talking about. Here, ask the expert.
If you haven't received your financial pardon, now is your last chance.
Okay, whatever.
The upcoming QE, the sharper.
All right. So here's my comment, Bobby. I'll read it to you. I'll give you a minute to read it. So basically, you have this guy who I question, some other idiot. I go, why do you talk paper gold? Why don't you ask the real question, which is why the U.S. is blowing up the economy on purpose? I believe it's because China is running the U.S. and has the most to benefit. Why don't you talk about physical gold prices, Russia and China exchanges? You're both clueless and lack the brains to think, the professor. I'm telling it to this guy and this other guy because they're fucking idiots. They keep doing this. Where's the other one I put down? I don't know. I responded to some guy. I can't find it. So that's basically, as you would say, I laid the smackdown on them. I laid the smackdown on their candy asses because what are they talking about? The interest rates going up or the Fed. And, okay, we've heard that, done that. We don't care. It's like talking about blockchain. It doesn't matter. We don't care. We want to buy Mickey Mantle cards. We don't want to buy Davy Mantle cards. So the fact Davy Mantle did this or that, we don't give a fuck. And that's what that other idiot was talking about with knowing blockchain. Who cares? It doesn't matter because I'm not buying Bitcoin because it's not money. And if I'm going to buy an investment, I'm buying a Mantle card or Bobby Bow card. I'm not buying the others. Okay, so Bobby Bow. So the professor is flying out next week. Oh, probably in March. So your coin store still has a lot of silver. I assume so. He's to get them from the mint. He owns 3 stores. And so, yes, he's a big player. This guy's a big player. He seems to always have inventory. I can go check it out today or tomorrow, but I'm definitely sure he does. Laugh out loud. Yeah, that's the worst when something just flows and you should have got in. Bobby Bow, it's equivalent to liking a certain team to bet on and you love the odds but never get to put it in and they win. Well, that's what I'm trying to – the difference is we know the score of the game. We already know the score of the game, right? That's – what do? I handicap. How do I handicap? Because I can analyze to get to the score by going UCLA scores 45 a game with the quarterback – and their defense is okay, and they play USC, who scores 45 points a game, running the Oklahoma offense, not a great defense. So I can see what's going to happen, and it was like an 85-point game, and the over-under was like 62. And so we jumped on the over because I knew the game was going to go. Now, the only question is injuries, right? Are both quarterbacks fine? Yep, okay, we'll bet it. And that's why I got screwed when Rising got hurt. In that game, that first game, I think it was Oregon State. He gets hurt at game time and doesn't play because he got injured against USC. Well, we won a bunch of money, Utah, USC in the over. Again, you're betting the quarterbacks to go over. I read yesterday he got hurt. He hurt his MCL or ACL in the third quarter against Penn State. So stop bitching about him, not giving the whoop ass in the Rose Bowl to Penn State. He got hurt, and they think he'll be fine for opening day against Florida. So I read that from the coach yesterday. Which one of the choke job? No, he didn't choke. Yeah, the choke job. He didn't choke. He didn't choke against USC in 2 games. And he didn't choke against UCLA. UCLA's strong. Again, you're looking at the quarterbacks to realize it's a high-scoring game to bet the game over. That's one thing leads to the other. So you got inflation. That's going to lead to higher costs, which leads to higher prices if the market will allow. That's why I keep saying, well, you can't just raise your price if the market says no. You've got to still – keep an eye on the market, which I don't think anybody but us understand. And then, so when people are like, oh, there's inflation will stop. Have you stopped printing money? No. Can you stop printing money? No. So, it's impossible to stop printing the money because it's like Social Security, Medicare, all the debt we owe to the other countries. You can't stop printing money to pay for it. And I heard yesterday or today that taxes have fallen. So they're getting less tax revenue in because they've raised the tax rate. They get less tax revenue. And that's what Reagan did. He lowered the taxes and they got more tax revenue. So the idea of raising the tax rate to get more tax revenue is reverse. You lower the rate to get more tax revenue. When you raise the rate, you get less tax revenue. Because quantity matters. He's not a bad quarterback, but hopefully he can redeem himself next. Don't worry, Bobby. I'll tell you. We're going to bet him against USC, Washington, those type of games. We'll take him in week 1 against Florida. How about that, Bobby? That'll get your money back. But, that's the one thing with football. You get the injury. There's not a lot you can do with it. Although their backup was sort of decent. He did beat Oregon State, but that's why you need backup quarterbacks. And it's amazing in the NFL, like when they don't have a good backup, you're like, what do you think these guys, especially these running quarterbacks, right? The running quarterbacks, you really got to worry about like Lamar and Hurst and all these guys. you definitely got to worry. Look at Tagliabue, got 5 concussions. It wouldn't be surprised me if his career's over. He's going to keep playing with 5 concussions in 1 year. This guy's so injury prone, it's ridiculous. Are you kidding me? He got 5 concussions last year. He had 1. He was out for 2 weeks. Yeah, this guy doesn't. He's too slow. He's way too slow for pro football. Tagliabue. Anyway, so yeah, I said, where do you want to go? And she's in the war again. And how about Spain? I go, yeah. The professor went. That's where they robbed the Bank of Spain. Maybe we'll get some masks and we'll go rob the Bank of Spain. I know how to do it. I know the water fills the vault. I know what to do with the vault. Then we blow the water to get the gold out. So yeah, I got notes. I watched Money Heist. I think we can take the gold out of there. I think we'll be okay. But I'll probably just want to go in the vault and I'll take a few blocks. Here, put it in your purse and we'll walk out. They won't notice. Yeah, the crazy thing about Tua is he's getting concussed on non-running. Well, that one play when he got sacked, his head whipped back. I thought he broke his neck. I think he did. They just called it a concussion, but he got crushed. I loved it. He's pretty much just gets sacked and slammed hard like the rock bottom. Well, and then he gets the people's elbow, and then that's it. He's out. Yeah, that's the problem. I think they need more. Like the guys should give more people's elbow. I think, like when they're going to sack the quarterback, they should run over him twice and then drop the elbow. And the funny part, if you ever watch the people's elbow, he doesn't hit him. He throws the elbow down, and it's like 3 feet away from the guy. So if the guy's not getting injured because the elbow is hitting him, it's just there. You'd think at least he'd be able to hit the guy, but no, he hits the mat with it, and the guy is out. But it's the people's elbow. So my only concern with that is the person that invented the people's whatever is Hitler. That was for Germany, the people's this and the people's that. So when I hear it, I get scared because that's what it means. It's not a good thing. It's very, very fascist, communist. I would like to see Mac Jones on the receiving end of the people's elbow. I'd rather see Ric Flair just tie him up in a figure 4 and that be it. Let him crawl to the ropes. This is the problem. I mean, what is going on with Zappy? What's wrong with Zappy? Oh, he's too small. Well, he barely beat Green Bay, beat Detroit, and beat the other team. What the fuck are you talking about? So I don't get coaches. I guess it's this Alabama thing where you have to draft the guys from Alabama and you have to play them. It's a rule. So you can see how good Alabama. So everybody will go to Alabama because they can be pros. I mean, it's just crazy. I'd pick up Zappy if you're not gonna take him, I'll take him. And it's amazing how in the NFL they have to actually see the player play. We don't know if Zappy any's good. We don't know if Brock Purdy's any good. And then he goes and plays and he looks good. And they go, oh, okay, he's good. You actually needed to see him play. You couldn't see him in a scrimmage or in practice or by God forbid in college. When Rising goes to the pros, I don't need to see him in the pros to know he's going to be a great quarterback. Just like Burrow, just like the guy at UCLA, just like Stetson Bennett, just like TCU's guy, just like Penn. These guys, Rising and Thompson Robinson, UCLA. I don't need to see them play in the pros to know they're good quarterbacks. Now, are you smart enough to run the systems used in college? You'll be successful. If you're going to put them in a different system that doesn't work for them, then you just wasted your draft pick. So you got to hire smart enough offensive coordinators that go to Rising, that go to Thompson Robinson, that go to this USC quarterback and go, what's your style of offense? And if the guy drafts Stroud out of Ohio State, they better go to the Ohio State offense or he'll be the 18th Ohio State quarterback that sucks. He can put Belichick's in the figure 4 and keep him until he puts in Zappy. Yeah, Belichick doesn't need a figure four to put Zappy in. If he can't figure that out, it's time for him to retire. Then it really shows you it was all Brady, and Belichick had nothing to do with it. It's crazy how many coaches have such bad judgment. It feels like more coaches would actually win titles if they just weren't so stupid. Don't have to be a genius. Just don't be stupid and make the right decisions. Just play the best players. I mean, you can go down wherever you want. I mean, go back to Lou Gehrig. I mean, the guy had him on the fucking bench. If the guy doesn't get hurt, you never heard of Lou Gehrig. Can't you see talent for what it is and just go with it and go, yeah, this guy looks good. He looked good in college. He'll probably be a good pro. Hell, why don't I try him in the exhibition games? Or let me start the guy and see look at Brock Purdy. Why did they think did you not watch him for 4 years at Iowa State, beat Oklahoma, beat Kansas State? Did you not watch those games? He should never have gone in the last round, first of all. And then secondly, he should have started over Garoppolo. If you watched it, why is Trey Lance even on the team? What is it about Trey Lance that you saw that made him a pick? And you wasted all these draft picks to pick him third. What is going through your mind? And then everybody wants to say how good John Lynch is. You traded for Trey Lance after what? He played a freshman year in a Division II school. Didn't play Ohio State, Alabama, Michigan, LSU. He played South Dakota State, North Dakota, Wyoming Central, Southfield Lathrop High School. I mean, what is it about that? Carson Wentz sucks in the pros, so he's in the same offense. What is it that you're looking at that we're all missing? Same thing in NBA too. Bad draft picks, bad coaching. Then they wonder why the same team dominate every season. Well, that's why San Antonio used to win. They had the best coach and the best players, and he played the best players. And as soon as he lost the players, all of a sudden he's not a good coach anymore. So a lot of times is the coach makes the player makes the coach. Just like the game you mentioned earlier, Professor, when Hurts was thinking up the joint versus Georgia, and Saban went with Tua at halftime. That took balls, but was the right decision and got the offensive spark. That's why coaches like Saban win championship. Well, he runs the system that makes his players perform well. Right? Look at the offense he runs. It's a speed receivers, but he has balance. He's got good running backs. So when you're playing defense, what do? Right? If you play a cover two, they run it down your throat. And if you don't play the cover two, they got the fast receivers and they got a good offensive line. But it only works against the weaker teams. When he gets in against Georgia, LSU, Clemson, Ohio State, it doesn't work because they have the talent to match up. So he's taking advantage of weaker talent. But what does he do? He runs balance, and then he's got the fast receivers because the weakness is most teams don't have NFL talent in their secondary. So he looks good, which is why Tagovailoa looks good, and Hurts didn't look good. He didn't look good at Oklahoma, Hurts. That's why I was surprised they drafted him at Philadelphia. A terrible draft pick. He ran too much. He couldn't find an open receiver and hit him. If you watch the Oklahoma games, especially against like it was Georgia or Alabama in the playoff game, they were down like 42-0 because the guy, it was 3-and-out, and then all it was the receivers run long, and then he would run. That was their offense. That'll work in the NFL. So again, I don't get what he is. He reminds me of Josh Allen. It's the same thing. He can't read a blitz. He's a decent quarterback, but he's not in Burrow and Mahomes' league. I'm sorry. That's the difference. Mahomes doesn't run like that. He runs when needed on that 3rd and long, yes, but not normally. Maybe 2% of the time he's looking to run, and it's a critical 3rd down, and then he doesn't run over people. He slides. Yeah, that's true. It's a mix with system with the right player who can run it, just like we mentioned yesterday with Gus Malzahn. His offense system was, exactly, but was never the same after Marshall left Auburn. Exactly. Well, look at when Bo Jackson was at Auburn. They beat Alabama, But when he wasn't there, they couldn't. They barely beat Alabama. They needed Cam Newton one year and Bo, and it should have been Bobby Bo. You should have. I can't believe you didn't go to Auburn and play running back there. I'm a little surprised, Bobby, that you didn't make it there. It's crazy to think that Ohio State benched Burrow for Justin Fields. I think Burrow got hurt was what happened. He got injured, and so Fields, I don't even think it was Fields. I think it was the other guy. Fields came later. I think it was J.T. Barrett, his senior year. Burrow, I think, got hurt, and then Fields actually got transferred from Georgia. He's not an Ohio State guy. He's from Georgia, I believe. So he transferred there, and then Burrow said, "Well, fuck you," and he went to LSU. So Ohio State, see, Burrow wasn't a good fit for Ohio State because they needed more of a running quarterback. Although Burrow is mobile, that shows you the problem with Ohio State. They had the best quarterback and didn't play him. And who else does that remind you of around the Big Ten? Is Tom Brady. They had Tom Brady and didn't play him. He very rarely played, and when he played, I remember watching the games. I'm going, "Is this a Brady Bunch guy?" I was not impressed by Brady at all at Michigan because they kept playing the other quarterback. Again, to your point, the coach not knowing what he had. How do you not see Brady? Brady should have been the starter all 4 years. And Brady was on the 97 national title team that Brian Greasy won. Imagine if they had Brady as the quarterback. Now, would Brady be Brady if he started as a freshman at Michigan? Probably. I mean, well, Joe Montana was a seventh stringer at Notre Dame when he started. He almost quit. He was seventh string, and then there's like 3 guys got injured and a couple guys. He got to play because of injuries. And then once he got in there, he lit it up. And that's my point. As soon as he got in there, he lit it up, right? And that's it. That's all, and that's what I'm saying. Play the guy, play him in the third quarter and see what you got. If he's any good, he'll light it up. Purdy went right in and lit it up. Zappe went right in the middle of the Green Bay game, right? Guy gets hurt, goes in, lights it up. Let's go to Jones again. Jones can't light it up. Zappe does. What are you thinking? Or is he too small, but he could light it up against Green Bay and Detroit? He wasn't too small then. So it's really bizarre the way the coaches work. Incredibly stupid. And then you wonder why there's 8 or 9 coaches fired every year because they're fucking idiots. We got to go for it on 4th down. Yes, Field transferred to Ohio State, then Burrow transferred to LSU. Yeah. Both teams made it to national championship. So I guess worked out for both teams at the time. No, because Ohio State did not win the national title, right? They lost to Clemson both years, I believe. Had Burrow stayed, Ohio State would have won 2 national titles. Oh, maybe. Burrow the first year, his junior year, wasn't really anything big. I looked at his stats, and he was like, they made a big deal, and I go, he didn't do anything. His senior year, he made the big jump because they brought in a new offensive coordinator. Because even in the beginning, I didn't know who Burrow was. I heard of him, but I go, this guy's nothing. And they played Texas the first week, and it was like a 47-44 game. I remember I had Texas and 8 or 9 points, and I won. And I'm thinking, well, what's the big deal about Burrow? And so yeah, they put up a lot on Texas, but I didn't see that coming until he put up a lot on, I think, I don't know, some other strong team, or I just started looking at his stats going, yeah, and then he put up 40 on Georgia and 40 on Florida and 40 on Alabama, 40 on Clemson. I go, okay, this guy's, he's Montana. They lost to Bama the COVID year because Alabama in NC game. No, Burrow was not at Alabama, was not at LSU. He graduated in 2019, Bobby. Unless you're talking about Ohio State lost to Bama, that I don't know. Burrow lit up Bama for about 40. Yeah, in his final year, he lit up Georgia for 45. He lit up Florida for 45, and he lit up Alabama in the championship game he beat Clemson in the championship game for 45. He put up 40, 50 points a game against Florida, Georgia, Alabama, and Clemson. So that's when I said this guy's unbelievable. He had two beast receivers, and Chase and Moss's kid, and he had Chocolatey Claire at running back, and he had a great offensive line. Ohio State lost to Bama. The COVID year. But that was with Fields. If they had, Burrow wouldn't have been there. But, COVID year, I don't even count. I mean, that's ridiculous. But so that's the beauty. Because college changes so much and pro changes so much, what my analysis used to be was I'd go back like 5 years. I go, they're a home favorite, home dog, bet against home favorite, home dog, and all these. And then I just say, oh, fuck, look at, Cincinnati. They're a great road dog. They're 18-1, and they'd be a road dog, and I'd bet them, and I'd win. And then everything changed. Forget COVID, but all these transfers. And I says, I can't win like that anymore. Being the professor, I had to develop a new strategy, which is now the defense. It's the points, it's ranking the teams is the only way, because I can't go, especially in the pros, I can't go back 5 years. The only one I can do it is with Mahomes. Mahomes and Reed's been there 5 years. Otherwise, you can't name me. Look at the Lions, look at the Rams, look at the Niners, look at all these teams. They all have new coaches and new quarterbacks every 2 years. So you can't use a 5-year trend. So you got to use points. And you got to look at Mahomes. That's why Philly, I still don't believe in Philly. It took me half a year to figure, and I still don't think they're a very good team. And then Frisco, I finally started seeing that they had this great defense, like with Harbaugh. But then Garoppolo I don't like, so it was hard to jump on Frisco. So you're not getting that Montana with the great defense, Brady with the great defense. You're getting the great defense with Garoppolo, or you're getting New England's defense with, Max Jones, or Baltimore's defense with Lamar. So you're not getting that full team, so it makes it extremely difficult to bet. That's why the only way you can do it. Game. Yeah, that COVID year sucked with conferences starting at different weeks and only having 7 games season. The whole thing was ridiculous. Why didn't, we'll let them decide. And then I think the MAC never played. Or I think the MAC played, and there was some conference that never played. And like the Big Ten played in 5 games, and, and you still had a playoff. Like, really? How are you having a playoff with teams that are playing 4 or 5 games? The whole COVID, Well, the funniest was trying to watch wrestling, and they didn't have a crowd. Like, you can't watch wrestling without a crowd. And then the stupidest thing is this mask and people not being allowed to go to sporting events. Hey, this is America. See, this is the problem. This is America. We run it. And if we want to go to sporting games, and I might catch the flu, you know what? I could go to the Piston game tonight and catch a flu because the guy sitting next to me might sneeze on me. How the fuck is it any different? Right? I mean, that's my point. And it's up to me if I want to go. If I want to go to the casino and play poker at a table with 11 guys, with 10 other guys, and somebody's sick and they're touching the chips, I might get sick. That's up to me. That's my decision. Do I want to play or not? But I'm not going to be afraid of catching a flu or catching COVID or anything. Irina just had it. My pregnant friend from Romania, she said she got COVID. She said, don't worry, the baby's okay. And now she says, I'm all better. So why am I scared of COVID? She had it, pregnant, high blood pressure, and okay, a couple days later, she's fine. So why are we scared of it? She got better. Everybody I've heard, most people I've heard, friends, and my cousin has all gotten better. So what am I worried about? If there was 1 million people dying of COVID, I would be a little concerned. But when I hear nobody's dying, and then you're faking that people got it, but then they're all fine, and you're giving it to me with the vaccine, and the only reason I got the vaccine was to travel to Europe, thinking I didn't need the negative COVID test because I got the vaccine. So what was the point of getting the vaccine if I still needed a negative COVID test? Well, you still could get COVID with the vaccine. Well, then what's the point of the vaccine? To kill us, right? To kill our immune system. That was the point of it. It was never intended so you could prevent COVID. That's the other problem. So, Bobby, what I discovered was if I don't do age restriction, we can't do a live chat, right? So if you let kids listen, then it gets to the analogs, or no, what are they called? The algorithms, and then I'd be seen by more people, but then I couldn't have live chat. I'd much rather have live chat and be able to swear than say it's for kids. And then I just hope that people catch me, and then more, because I'm on. It's just I'm not going to be in the algorithm that these other morons are on. But if you notice, you can't talk to them. So that's my point. You have the ability to talk to me, right? But if we watch these shows with Peter Schiff, you can't type to him and say, "Hey, Peter, you're full of shit. You're an idiot. Da 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 da. You're a Keynesian." You can't talk to them as you can to me, right? That's the kicker. So that's much more valuable to me, because this is a class I'm trying to teach you. I'm not going to sit there and say, well, the Fed will keep raising interest rates until the cow jumps over the moon, and I can't tell you when that's going to happen. Well, they're blowing up the economy. And again, the question I ask, why aren't you talking about why are they blowing it up? I've talked about it. Why aren't you talking about why is the U.S., are you assuming they're this stupid on purpose, inflating the money, raising rates? You think they're idiots, or you think they're doing it with a reason? Because China then gets to be number one. So right now the U.S. is one, China's two. And so China wants to be the national champs, and to do that, the U.S. has to get their team injured, and then here comes China. So basically, China's Georgia, and the U.S. was Alabama. Now Alabama's fallen. Here's Georgia. Well, China's Georgia. They got the good defense now. Now can they replace the quarterback? And we'll see. But that's basically what's happening. Yeah, the live chat is the great. Well, that's why I do it. Professor would tear Peter Schiff a new one if he can live chat with him. I'd kill him. I've been on a few live chats with some of these other guys, and I just destroy them. Yeah, and the shot don't even prevent us from getting it or giving it to others, but they say it's for the safe. And then what I don't like is the mask. If I want to wear a mask, I'll wear a mask. Don't tell me to wear a mask. See, that's the whole, we're Americans. We make up our own decisions. We have what's freedom, not government control. And when government tells me to wear a mask, it's communism. That's why I don't want to talk to the guy in the pool. It's you, the government, forcing me to wear a mask. Well, I don't want to wear a mask. If I get sick, I get sick. That's up to me. That's not up to you. Like I said, I can go play poker, and if some idiot's sick and he's touching the chips, and I win a pot and I grab the chips and I get sick, well, that was my decision. So that's what I have. See, so what I keep bitching at is we're Americans. We grow up with freedom, with us making our choice, not the government telling us. And slowly, the government's trying to tell us, you're going to use digital money, and you're going to drive electric cars, and you're going to not eat meat, and you're going to do this and that. We're gonna ruin this dollar. That's what we're gonna do, so we can control you. So it's all basically a lot of communism is what they're kind of trying to feed us, and we're not taking that smackdown. They can't do that. I'm not going to let them. They can try it, but if nobody lets them, then they can't, and we'll just vote them out of office, and that'll kill that. He would ban the professor quicker than you expelled the other day. He wouldn't even be able to answer my questions. I would say, why don't we talk about what's really happening? Do you understand that there's physical gold and paper gold? Because you only understand it as paper gold. Why aren't you talking about, see, I would kind of word it like, why don't you talk about the physical gold instead of the paper gold? and he'd see it and probably not answer the question. If he does answer the question, he's obvious he doesn't know what's he going to say. So he's going to go after questions he could answer. But if you ever listen to him, he doesn't answer a question. If you ask me about Burrow and transferring from Ohio State, I answered yes. He went to LSU, and then Fields came from Georgia. We had a direct question answer. If Peter Schiff would talk, and you wouldn't, what the fuck are you talking about, Peter? We're talking about Burrow going to LSU, and you're talking about it's 7:30. It's Tuesday. I mean, what are you talking about? That's Peter Schiff talks to hear himself talk. There's no concrete. That's why he's really a Keynesian, because he just talks, and that's the problem with most of these idiots. They just talk. They don't really have any substance to the conversation. So does Peter Schiff only buy paper gold and not physical? Is that what Schiff does? Well, he sells physical gold, but he talks paper gold. Oh, gold will go up. Da, 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 da. No, let's see. In other words, this first comment should be buy physical gold, ignore paper gold. But he still brings in the derivative, COMEX, thinking, well, that's going to go up. And it's got nothing to do with it. COMEX has nothing to do with the gold price. It's got nothing to do with the physical gold price, just the paper gold price. So if I'm buying physical from Peter Schiff and he's saying, well, it might hit 2,500 an ounce, as a fucking idiot. What do you mean 25? Silver's going to hit 2,500 an ounce. What do you talk? You don't understand that COMEX is not a real number. So the $25 that me and Bobby are going to go buy ounces of silver with is a gift from the gods. That's not the real price of silver. Based on demand, which is why I keep saying the market and supply and demand, based on the demand for silver at $25 an ounce, the demand's up here. Where should the price be? Where demand is, right? Which is probably $2,000-3,000 an ounce. At this current price, as you devalue this by the inflation, it goes up more because it'll take even more dollars to buy the silver. That's my point. So if it's a Mickey Mantle card, the price is equal to the demand. That's the market, right? He gets $500,000 for a 1968 PSA 10. And then somebody pays for it because the demand's up here because it's Mantle and it's a PSA 10, makes the demand high. Look at forget it. We'll go to Joe Montana. Rookie card, demand, PSA 10, 100,000, not 500, 100,000. That's what his price, that's what the market says. So why would Peter Schiff say, oh, $25 for silver is right when the demand's here? No, the price should meet the demand. If Montana is 100,000, silver demand's not here. Silver demand's through the roof. Russia, China, India, us, Bobby Bowe, certainly helping the cause. Our demand is huge because we just laugh. $25 an ounce for something that's worth $2,000. We just laugh, and it's like, okay, I go find money. I'll go give blood. I'll go whatever I can do to get money to buy it, right? And it's as much money as I can get to, I'm selling my IRA to get out of stocks, which I've been out of, to get money to go buy more gold and silver because it's a steal, because it's not, the prices aren't real. And again, because I understand that market economics, I understand it all about demand. So as long as demand's here, that's where price should be. That's why $25 silver with the demand up here doesn't make sense. It's that the price has to come up here. So let's go to my rib place. If the demand for ribs were here, he could sell it for 40. And what I'm saying to him is the demand for ribs is about $25 a slab. If you go to 40, you don't meet so you've got to price the ribs where the demand line stands. That was really in English the point I'm trying to make to him. If you make This is your demand line is $25 a slab. If you try to sell it for 40, who are you going to sell it to? There's no demand at 40. The demand's down here. This is the problem with everybody with inflation thinking, well, they'll just raise prices and the prices will go up and the customers will pay it. No, customers won't pay it. The substitute or the go without. That's what we do, right? We don't want the expensive steak. We go buy chicken. We get a different brand. We can go get a hammer. We can buy roast at $5. We don't have to buy the New York strip. If it's $20 a pound, we'll buy whatever at $9 or $10 a pound. Fuck you. That's what we're gonna do. Or we go to chicken or tuna or something, right? That's what we do. Is where the price equals the demands where we go. That's why you substitute. So if you're trying to sell a Camry at 30,000 that sells for 22, 24, and then you add the interest rate, so it's like 33, you're out of your fucking mind. Who are you selling to? There's no demand. Same thing with Tesla. He's 50,000 and the demand's down here. First of all, there's no demand. It's an electric car. Secondly, he's 50,000. There is no market there. So now he's lowered it to 27,000. And the question is there a market at 27? Or is the market here? Or is the market none? Who wants an electric car? So he's trying to sell to nobody. There's no demand. You're doing a mental investment. According to Say's law, you can only sell when you have the demand. That's the beauty of demand. That's the beauty of price. That tells you your market. That tells you all you need to know. That's how you value inflation, not prices. It's demand. If the price goes up, it's because this lost value. That's it. And that's not going away. You can't print money and then take it back. Well, we printed 10 trillion of them. Can we get the 10 trillion back? No, you can't. It's gone. You've printed them. They're gone. This whole velocity, I don't know what that is. How fast it changes hands. Who came up with that shit? Well, I went to the coin store and I bought silver and I gave him cash and then he took it and he paid his electric bill and then the electric company got it and went to the bank and then the bank loaned it out and then somebody got more silver. I mean, that's velocity. How the fuck would you know how fast velocity is moving? Are you kidding me? You don't know what I do with this dollar. I ripped it in half. It'll never be used. Does that mean velocity's down? The stuff these idiots try to sell you is so stupid. Oh my God. Bobby. So does Peter Schiff only buy paper? Yeah, well, that's what he thinks he's buying. Bobby, yeah, it's like us talking metals and he's talking about the fucking weather. Well, that's the problem I have with most of these clowns. They keep, the Fed's raising interest. China is going to invade Taiwan. No, they're not. They're not because we can blockade them. China doesn't have oil. We have these big ships. The oil goes through the Strait of China or whatever, which we can block with the battleship. And if we block it, they can't get oil. Therefore, and we buy their goods. So the chances of them going to war with us, not getting any oil and getting the blockade and then not selling their goods to us, they're fucked. They're bankrupt. They're dead. They would last a month without oil because they wouldn't be able to heat. They wouldn't be able to light. How would they sell their food? They're dead. If they go to war with us, we blockade them. It's all over. So there will not be a war with the U.S. and China over Taiwan. It ain't going to happen. And why do you need the war? China, why do you need Taiwan? Just go buy whatever you want from them anyway, or just infiltrate their things without going to war, without the military. It just seems the war seems so stupid. There's better ways to do it. Like what China's doing here is not going to war. They're killing our currency and killing our government. So they're kind of coming into the middle of it and basically just destroying the U.S. without going to war. So why would they go to war in Taiwan when they don't need to? They just buy up all our land and our houses and stuff until they run out of money, which they did. And that's why they buy gold, because they know the U.S. is exploding themselves, which we are. So as they say, all the money's going from west to east. It's leaving us, Canada, and Europe, going to China, Russia, and Singapore, Hong Kong, and Africa, and Saudi Arabia, and all that. And maybe to Brazil and Argentina, although their inflation's through the roof too. How corrupt are those countries? Venezuela, Argentina, and Brazil, so corrupt. I think the Russians run them, and they just print the money to death and probably buy oil or gold with it. But they're fucking clueless too. Oh my God. So we will go look at college basketball, and I probably do that today. I just probably eat. Well, that's it, Bobby. When I talk to the communist, it's like I'm talking apples and he's talking oranges. Well, Karl Marx, I'm reading Karl Marx. That's like the idiot telling me about blockchain. I don't care. It's not Austrian economics. Therefore, what do I care about what Karl Marx? I don't want to even hear what Karl Marx has to say. Communism doesn't work. It murders a bunch of people. It's dictator controlling me, and I don't want to be controlled. So I don't want to hear anything about it. There's no point in me listening. And if you're too stupid that you want to be a communist and get controlled, that tells me a lot about you, and I don't want to talk to you. Anybody that's stupid, I don't want to have a conversation with. So that's basically it. But yeah, I mean, that's, well, you know, us being INFJs, we're always on a different wavelength. We're always talking metals, and everybody else is talking about the sun's yellow or that's normal for us. And we see it. Like, I see how to pick the games by betting the team. Nobody else sees that. Nobody else hears that. Nobody else understands that. That's the beauty of me. I see why did I lose? I can answer the question why I lost. Most people can't answer that question, right? They just don't get it. But that's what happens. So anyway, we got college basketball coming up. The pros, we'll do the same thing for the pros. Once they're in the playoffs, I'll categorize the teams and off we go. Football draft coming up. What else do we got? Gold, we'll see. It's just a matter of time. Probably run out and buy more. I think I'll do that for my birthday, buy another 20 ounces of silver. See, before I was in a hurry to do it. Now it's kind of like I see it's going to take a little bit, but I want to do it before they go up, because if me don't buy more and it goes up, even though I'll really have a hard time being really upset that I didn't buy more, even though I bought a lot of gold and bought a lot of silver, a lot more than I was going to. I had 37 ounces of Highland Mint. I was fine. I got 37, not even real. Now I got 470. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And it's so cheap. And see, I realize it's cheap, right? I realize that the paper price is phony. I realize the physical price is much higher, but I realize that because I can think like that. And I think that's what frustrates me and you, Bobby's, the Peter Schiffs and these other idiots. They obviously can't realize the difference between the paper COMEX and the real. And they think that the COMEX is the real price. Even though maybe it's manipulated, they think the manipulation will get off, or they think it's supply and demand. They can't see that it's not the real, that it's phony. That price is not the real price of silver. They can't see that, but I can. And I guess that's why I get frustrated. It's like, what are you guys, a bunch of fucking idiots? Why are you talking about paper gold? Who cares? That's not the real. If somebody sells 1 million ounces of silver that they don't have the silver and it's paper, and the price drops $2, why? That's not right. The price isn't dropping because people are selling physical. It's dropping because it's a make-believe 2 million ounces sold that the guy doesn't have 1 ounce of silver that he's selling. It's paper that he's selling, not the actual silver. So if you can't see that, I don't know how to help you. I mean, you're out of your fucking mind. Or they're talking about the Kardashians or some big shit. Hey, and Hoa, Miss Martinez, thank you for the information. God bless you. You're more than welcome. Please, you can ask questions and comments. If you don't understand anything, but yeah, this is the whole key always is you gotta realize markets. If you understand what the market is and they try to sell it higher, it's not going to happen. If there's no demand for electric cars, it's not going to happen. If there's no demand for central bank digital currency, it's not going to happen. It'll only happen if people want it, and they can't force us to do it. We have to volunteer to make a market, and we don't want to. So it's my pleasure. I'm struggling with your name, Anhoa. Or is it an A-L-N, or is it silent? Aho, Anho, maybe Anho. I don't know. I don't want to screw up your name. So I'll just call you Miss Martinez. Keep it simple. Bobby, could you figure out her name? Give me a guess what you think it is. I don't know. But it's nice you're here, Miss Martinez. I appreciate that. Anyway, that's what you got to look at. But see, in our system, it's got to be demanded. Everything's demanded. Everything's based on I want a blue shirt. That's what you make, right? If I don't want this, you can make it, but I don't want it. So I'm not going to buy it, because it's all about us buying the goods and services that we need. We got to buy food. So then it becomes, how much is it? What are we going to buy? That's the difference, right? So what do we want to buy is the whole key. And that's really the whole issue there. But anyway, what else? So sports, poker, smelling out the bluff. I mean, it's all about learning the person, and does he bluff, and how does he bluff? Some people bluff on, if you look weak, they bet because you look weak. And if that's how they bluff and you got a good hand, you look weak. When I lost with my flush, I looked weak. I checked the flop and I had 4 spades. The spade hit on the turn. I checked that. So I looked weak. The guy bet $18. Then I came over the top for 50. So maybe that was a bad play, because then he went all in knowing I had a good hand, because I checked raise, which is a clue that I have it. But I did. I wasn't hiding it. I just didn't think he had a flush. I thought he had 2 pair or trips. And then when he just had the higher flush, but it wasn't that good of a flush that he should have made that bet. I could have easily had him beat. I could have easily had the queen making the bet I had. But see, because I wasn't in a lot of hands, he didn't know how I played. So believe me, the whole table was shocked when I made that move, which is a normal move for me if you know me. If you don't know me and you see me fold my hand because I'm getting 2-9, and then I get 8-9 of hearts, and I put in my $2 and you bet 10 and I fold, they have no concept what I'm doing. It's so far over their heads, they have no idea how I play poker. And then when I make that move, again, I'm hiding that I have a hand. I check, and then you bet. Now I'm like, now I got you trapped, motherfucker. And then I made my bet. Probably should have got away from the all in, but I actually thought I was winning. I actually thought I had. He said he thought I had a straight, and I go, you don't bet straights into flushes. Why would I bet a straight into a flush? I mean, I would have bet. I wouldn't have checked. Right. So I would have came out with $15 if I hit the straight, and then let's see what he did. I wouldn't have checked the straight. He bets, and then I raise. Now with the straight, not if he's betting with 3 spades on board. So I'm pretty sure does he have a flush? But that's what you're trying to learn is why. Why does he call me? Why is he raising me? Why is he checking? And you've got to ask that question at the poker table. If you can ask that question, then, one guy bet when he had 4 to a straight. He didn't even have the straight. I don't know how he bet when he had the straight. The guy next to me, I don't know if he was playing. I don't know enough about him. He made some bad moves. Like I said, when the tight player called, he should have made a big bet, because the tight player is calling. He's not going anywhere, right? He's the tight player. He put me maybe as a tight player. I don't know how he put me on, because you can't read me. And I don't give you anything to read. I'm just sitting there looking at the table, looking at the middle like this. You're going to read me? Good luck. And if I ever played Daniel Negreanu, I'd bury the motherfucker. Whoa. Oh, okay. I got us back. So, because Daniel would talk, right? That's his tell. He's nervous. He talks a lot. And so what I would do if I played him, he'd start asking me, what do you got? And I'd say, go fuck yourself. This is poker. I'm not talking to you. I'll talk to you when we're out of the hand if you have anything worth saying. If you're going to talk to me about gold and silver, we can have a conversation. If you're going to talk Bitcoin or how stupid you are, I'm not going to have a conversation. Again, I'm not going to small talk you. I'm not going to let's talk about if you ever watch like Poker After Dark or these older shows, and they would talk, Phil Ivey would talk, I'm going to diet and I'll bet you $1 million I won't eat a hamburger for a week or something like that. Leave me alone, man. That's small talk. That's just asinine. They would not like me because I would not have a conversation with any of them. I'd say, go fuck yourself. If you're going to bring something, if you're going to interrupt my concentration, I'm expecting something. Let's talk gold. Let's talk inflation. Let's talk the market. What's going on in Russia. Then we can talk. If you're going to talk about dieting or going to play golf, go fuck yourself. You're not going to talk to me about it. I got nothing to say about that shit. And if I was quiet and they go, Howard, what do you like? I'd be like, well, I like Austrian economics, and I'm sure none of you understand it, so go fuck yourself. Stop bothering me. We're here to play. I got to focus and concentrate. Anyway, so that's really poker. It's really in life. The girl smiled at me. Oh, okay. Does she like it? She must like me. And then you talk to her, and then you ask her out. She doesn't go out. And you go, well, why didn't she go out? She smiled at. So if you don't get the smile, you don't approach. And then if you approach, you try to figure out, is she gonna, does she want to spend time? And then you got to figure out, do you want to spend time with her? After you have a conversation, you got to go, do I want to, spend time with you? But it's all, what did they say? What didn't they say? You're really listening for behavioral patterns. That's really what it is. If somebody, it's all psychology, everything from betting football to playing poker to gold and silver. It's all psychology. It's all understanding why it goes up and down, why she said hello and didn't say hello. Like girls, oh, they're shy. Well, what are you afraid of? I mean, I always never understood shy. That means you're scared. What are you scared of? What's somebody going to do to you? I mean, if a guy has a gun, I'm going to be scared, but because he's got a gun, I'm not going to be shy to talk to him and worry, oh, will they say yes or no? I mean, that's just ridiculous. So anyway, that is life. So we are at 3 hours. It's 3:00. I got to go to the library. I got to go swimming. I think I'll have a can of soup, and I got chicken I got to make, Bobby. I got chicken breast took out of the freezer, but I'll make those tonight, and that'll be like lunch for tomorrow. I don't like cooking now. I like making a bunch of hamburgers and heating one up now. I'll probably have a salad and chili, I think. I don't really have time to make the chicken. I'm too hungry too also. I want to do that. So I'll start looking for, now where do I go in Spain? I guess there's Madrid and Barcelona, and I'll have to see which one's better. What kind of soup? Oh, it's just like, I have chili and then I have chicken noodle. I already ate my avocado, Bobby. I have one a day. I already ate it. I ate it about 11:45. So I've been coming on about 12:15 because I wanted to watch the YouTube morons to see if there's anything worth watching or worth bringing up in class. So think of me as a teacher. We're talking current events. So I watch YouTube and I see the little morons talk about stuff they don't understand. And then if there's anything worthwhile, I'll show you, or I'll show you my negative comments I leave these idiots because they're too stupid to understand paper and physical. Anyway, so I haven't heard from that lady. I'm a little surprised. That one at the I saw at the Gold Store after a year and a half, who I taught economics. I gave her my card. Says, well, anytime you want to talk, and she didn't shut up. We talked for like an hour with his daughter at the Gold Store when it closed. So we were outside, and that's where we were at. But outside of that, I don't know. I was thinking she'd email me so we could talk some more. And I did warn her, be careful who you listen to. And she says, well, I listened to the Lynette Zagney or whatever. And I'm like, oh, I don't really like her. She's not really very good. See, like here, yep, we're doomed now. Okay. Do you think we don't know? Oh, he's going to give us investment lessons. Look, he's got his marker and his charts out. Oh, yeah, that really works. Again, that's like looking at New England with Brady. Now he's not there. You can't use the chart because Brady's not on New England anymore. And now he's not on Tampa. You can't use that chart. So he wants to use charts of what happened in 2008 to verify that that's what's going to happen now, which is not going to happen. Or what happened in 1929 is not going to happen the same way as what happened now. I mean, it's totally different. That's why you need a new way to look at it, right? You need the defenses. So how do I incorporate the defense into looking at that? All I can do is the inflation. But even this is here we go, Bobby. How dangerous is the NIFJs? We're fucking dangerous. And then I compare fixed sciatica, and there's 26 different videos showing you to do different things. There's a new one, putting your foot on a chair versus leaning against the wall versus laying down versus this versus that. It's the same thing in investing, right? So there's 26 different videos. Which one works? The one that works for you, which you don't know what it is. And that's the problem. Like one of the problems is I'm sitting here for 3 hours is not good for my sciatic, but fortunately, I think it's on the mend with all my running in the pool. I think fixes it, but that's how I got it. I probably sat down wrong or twisted or turned, and that's what did. I think sometimes I'll put the clicker and I'll turn off the YouTube I'm watching when I go live, and if I twist, I haven't been doing my twisting exercises. So that's the same thing. So here, there's 20 things. So with gold, there's 20 different buy gold, sell gold. They don't differentiate. Most of them don't differentiate physical and paper, except Alistair and Egon. The guys in Europe get it. The guys in America probably can't say it, or JP Morgan will kill them or something. I don't know, but they don't really differentiate paper from they have no idea. I think they think physical. I think they think that the COMEX is the physical price. But if you're going to sell 1 million ounces of without actually selling the ounce, how could it be the physical price? Anyway. Oh, here you go. Insane way to open any lock without a key. There you go. We had Bobby, write this down. We got to get matches.
The easiest way to make money at home, and you 100% have never.
I hate when it does that. There you go, Bobby. If we light a match into a key, apparently it'll open the lock. I'm impressed. Same way to open any lock without a key. Then you got this moron, Ray DeLilio, he's a Keynesian. So he comes out, everybody listens to him because he's a billionaire, and he's a billionaire because he's a thief. And then he says, this leak is about to crash America's economy. What leak would that be? You mean that we have inflation, or do you mean that Russia, China are going to the gold standard, or do you mean that Saudi Arabia is now going to the yuan and off the dollar. Which leak are we talking about, Ray? Like, instead of just giving you what it is, he's got to do this bullshit and do that. And then so he sounds, and I'll have to give him a negative comment. But again, that's what the leak is, right? Either Russia, China going to the gold standard, or Saudi Arabia getting off the petrodollar to the yuan dollar. Well, it's nothing new. We've heard it from our guy. So then you got everybody and their mother coming out with this bullshit. And then, Ray was right. He called that. And he's trying to take credit for these other guys or what I talk about. I don't talk about it to take credit. I'm right. I was right.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Data Sets channel.
So here's the richest people in the world. Who gives a fuck? It's all going to be worth zero soon, because unless these people are smart enough to invest in gold and silver, Elon Musk, $223 billion. Let's see if Bobby's on here. I think Bobby will be on here. Turn. Yeah. Anyway, these are all the communists. For some reason, they get rich. They want to control you. Like, if I get rich, I just want to sit on an island somewhere in peace and quiet. I don't want anybody around me. Putin witnessed power of the U.S. Navy. U.S. Navy on the alarm. 2 Russian cruisers desperately approaching the U.S. Sixth Fleet. What does that mean? Desperately approaching. Here you go, Bobby. Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins. There you go. I think Seth Rollins wins the match. I don't know. WrestleMania, Universal title match. I didn't think anybody beat Brock Lesnar but Goldberg. Oh, and here's psychological. Make them chase you. Oh, yeah, that'll work. Just be nice to people. Be honest with people. You don't need to do all this bullshit. Never fight for someone's attention. Do this and stuff. Just be nice. You don't have to do anything. Just stand there and be nice and smile, and people will come to you. They don't chase. It's not a chase. U.S. nuclear base purged Moscow air raids. So I don't know what that means. Here's what I talk about poker being all luck. So that's some pro, and he's got ace king, and the other guy has queens. So he's way behind, and he wins 300,000 in a luck hand. It's all luck because he was way behind with ace king versus queens, and he happened to win. So he's a good player. How is he a good player? He got lucky. This is the problem I have with Texas Hold'em. He happens to flop an ace or a king, he wins. If he doesn't, he loses. It's all luck. It's all about the 5 middle cards, which is why I don't like Texas Hold'em. I prefer 7-card stud or something like that, where it's based on my hand. Right here, it's 5 community cards, and you get 2. It's really a terrible game. I got to try this one, Bobby. 9 strange experiences that we'll have if our third eye is open. My third eye is always open. I got to watch that video. I'll have to watch this. Some Canadian thing. Nobody knows. Anyway, so that's YouTube. I mean, that's what I do. I basically scroll the stories if it's something interesting. Most of the econ ones I know are just, oh, we're off the gold standard. Oh, Russia, China went on the gold standard. Oh, the derivative paper price. Yeah, okay, we get it. When does the switch flip on and our silver worth 2,000 an ounce? That's all I need to hear. By the way, what is sciatic? Sciatic's the back. It's like your ass and the bottom of your back. There's nerves. There's a lot of nerves at the bottom of the spine in your ass. And when you hurt them, it hurts. It goes down your leg to your hamstring or your calf. And it's hard. You're hitting the nerve as if it's like a tooth. And that's what the sciatic is. So you got to like unwind it. So if I sit too long, the things are getting kind of crushed, and it's not. It hurts you. Normally, I don't get that, but I have lately. But when I go in the pool, I think I'm loosening them up, and I'm running in the pool and in the hot tub. Helps me kind of. It's still there a little, but not as bad. By the way, have you experienced muscle twitching at all? Not usually. Once in a blue moon, but not usually. Usually I'll change positions, it goes away. Time for some rice with veal. Okay. I was watching some 90s WWF to wind down yesterday. It was good stuff. Well, yeah. And I know you get into The Rock and, the Ric Flair shows, Hollywood Hogan. I watched something, if you got Tubi, on the Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth in real life. And they were really married. And he was just as much of a control freak as he showed on the show. And eventually she left and she was with Lex Luger. And she OD'd with him because he did drugs, I guess. And she tried to keep up, but he was 290 pounds. And then she was like 90 pounds. So she OD'd. That's how she died, with Lex Luthor. And that's a shame. But, yeah, they were really married, her and the Macho Man, and he was so immature, he was so jealous that he didn't want anybody to talk to her. It was not an act, that was real. But it was an interesting one. If you got Tubi, which you should, if you got Roku, it's a good one. It's called Dark Side of the Ring, and they had one on Bret Hart with the Montreal Screwjob, which was really the whole thing was incredibly stupid. What the fuck does Bret Hart care? He's working on a new kind. He's getting millions of dollars here. Okay, you won. Oh, I can't lose in Canada. Dude, it isn't real in the first place. And believe me, teams do far worse in pro football where they lose games. Yeah, I watched that Tom Professor. Luger as religious now, as in wheelchair permanently. Well, that'll get you religious. Well, he killed Miss Elizabeth basically. What is he doing drugs with her? He's a whole different, because he murdered her, and then he probably, who knows, but yeah. Bret Hart was good. They didn't do enough with him. He's much better than anything they got today. This Brock Lesnar, I think, is the stupidest show. I mean, all he does is body slam people. That's not wrestling. Or he does MMA stuff where he puts you in this hold. We're not watching MMA. I don't like MMA. I think it's stupid. But I'm watching wrestling. I like to see wrestling, not MMA. I don't need to see you put some guy in a hold and then he's got to submit and you're breaking the guy's arm. Like, what the fuck is that? I don't enjoy that. I don't watch Brock Lesnar. I think he's an idiot. No sense of humor, no personality, just a big ugly dude. I don't I don't get it. I really, you're going in the wrong direction. You're going from personality to submission holds. Like, no, I don't think so. Yeah, Bret Hart, I liked. He was a good wrestler, and you liked when he won, and he was good. They obviously murdered Owen Hart, which again, go prove it, but obviously they did. How did they not hook the latch up? So you're telling me professionals, this is the time, doesn't hook the latch onto his thing going down? Oh, it was an accident? Are you insane? That is not an accident. No, that is done on purpose. You cannot. That's like saying that 9/11 was an airplane actually crashed into that tower and it brought it down. Yeah, that's the same bullshit. Or we actually went on the moon with a moon thing that's too small for people to be in. Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. I believe it because the government told me. So I don't. I believe they murdered Owen Hart. Was clearly a murder. Certainly cannot be. You cannot miss that, right? You cannot. What does it take? You've got a hook, and then you put the thing into the hook. Oh wow, that's such a difficult thing. And then you lower him down. How the fuck could you fuck that up? I mean, that's impossible, unless it was a trick hook that like opened up. So you put the spoon in, but it really then it's murder anyway. Then it's something's wrong. See, that's why I don't trust people. I would have brought you up, Bobby, and I would have said secure it, and you would have said, "Oh wait, there's a little trick thing here that's it's gonna unlock when you go down," and you would have stopped me from doing it, or vice versa. I would have checked it and go, no, don't. It's not secure. So I would have is it secure? And if it wasn't hooked in or the base was broken, we would have known it before we went. Certainly not trusting these guys. And if I'm the wife, I blame her for not going up there and testing it. I would have tested it. I'm sorry. You can't trust these idiots. I remember the news was blaming Vince when Owen died. Well, it was totally Vince. Vince was in charge of the trick. It's like a magician trick, right? You saw the girl in half. You're not sawing her. She's got her legs folded under. You can't. That's all it is a magic act. So you can't fuck it up unless you use a real lock in that, or David Blaine being underwater for 24 hours. Obviously he's breathing. They were putting him on the spot big time on CNN and all those news channels. Well, there's no reason to put him on the spot. It's obvious that happened. What I would have done was looked at the collar when he fell. I would have looked at why isn't the thing in, or did the thing break? What happened? Why didn't the lock not work? Was it this part of it, or was this not in? That's what I would have went after. He's on the ground. Where is everything? And if there was obviously there was no pin, but it could have been broken. And that's what I would have, and I would have sued, but I wouldn't have let it go. See, the professor doesn't let it go that far. I'm checking it before I leave, right? Is it taut? Is it secure? Can I go down? I'm checking that. I'm not trusting anybody with that kind of thing. That's not going to happen. He got mad and was yelling at the news anchors. It was an accident, lady. And I would have said right back to him, that's impossible. It couldn't be an accident because it's not an accident. So you have the latch and you have the hook, and then it's supposed to go down. So either the hook wasn't in or the latch was one of these break-offs and then the hook went through. Neither of them are accidents. That's not an accident. That needs to be checked that this is secure, and that needs to be checked that's in. And if that's right, he would have just gone down normally. Obviously it isn't, and that is not an accident. And if he's yelling, that means it was. Then he's Madoff, right? So if you watch Madoff on Netflix, as I hope you did, and took notes, so you know never to get scammed or Ponzi'd. Anything too good to be true is true, but the gold and silver, it's nobody's Ponziing us. They're trying to keep us away from buying it. That's the Ponzi of the gold and silver. And we're going, no. We get you, Madoff. You're not going to fuck us. We're going to buy gold and silver. We're not staying away from it. But that's it. I mean, what did Madoff say? When Madoff was getting audited, he'd start yelling at the guys, or somebody asked a question in the office, he started yelling. That's a Madoff. So when you get somebody being defensive and yelling, they're lying, period. By the way, I am laughing about Vince yelling, not Owen dying, as I felt bad when I heard the news that time. Well, you don't want to kill anybody. Now, there's a difference. There was, Tito Martinez, I think, one of those Mexican guys. And I don't know who it was. It was, now he's a baseball player, Tito Martinez. Tito somebody. Anyway, one of the Mexican wrestlers, and he had a heart attack in the ring and died. But the problem was he was trying to lift this 350-pound Kamala or something. Why would you have the guy like grab 350 pounds, pick him up, and slam him down 3 times? So on the 3rd time, he had the heart attack. And then Rick Rude still pinned him. Like, the guy's dead, and you're still pinning him. And then they realized he was having a heart attack, but he died. Now, that's again, why are you having him lift this 400-pound guy? Not just once, but he slammed him 3 or 4 times. It was Eddie Guerrero. So if you ever get a chance to watch Eddie Guerrero heart attack, you'll see he's picking up this big guy 3 or 4 times. That's when he has the heart attack. So once he's fine. But no, it was Eddie Guerrero, not Tito Santana. Or it was Tito Martinez, who played on Seattle. Santana is still alive. So it's the other guy, Eddie Guerrero. Yeah, I knew it was one of these Mexican guys. Santana. No. He died in the ring of a heart attack. I don't know where you're getting that from. Just go and show wrestlers who died. You'll see it. I mean, I'm very 100% sure he died having a heart attack in the ring, picking up this 400-pound guy. Jesse had the heart problem in the hotel room, and he was bleeding internally and almost died he was sweating and almost died in his sleep, but he recovered. Well, it was some Mexican guy. Was there another one? Is there a Martinez or a Rodriguez or something? Does he live in Tampa now? Can you go to his house and ask him if he had a heart attack in the ring and died? I believe Eddie Guerrero died I believe it was him who died in the ring. I can see the guy had a mustache, kind of a popular Mexican guy, but well, one of those guys, if it wasn't him, it was Santana, who died in picking up some heavy guy in the ring. I will find it for you and do my homework and show you at our next classroom that's what happened. But yes, he was picking up this guy, had a heart attack in the ring, and Rick Rude pinned him, and then he had died in the ring. So again, I thought it was Guerrero. I know it was a Mexican guy. So yeah, it's a shame. I mean, you would think why does he keep lifting the guy up? But yeah. Well, Rick Rude pinned the guy and he got the win. He pinned the guy who died, who had the heart attack in the ring. Because you're looking at him like, what is he doing? And he went and pinned him. So Rick Rude pinned the guy. So well, I know Rick Rude died. He tried to take Viagra in his dick. He shot it into his dick and it exploded or something like that. Yeah, okay, Bobby. I'm telling you, I saw it, and then Rick Rude pinned him. But he kept picking up this real heavy guy, and that was the point of it. And you're like, okay, I couldn't pick up 400 pounds 3 times over, pick him up, slam him, do it again. Yeah, I'll probably have a heart attack too. It's not really good for your heart. Well, we got plenty of homework. I got to go do college basketball in a minute. So I'm going to have a quick salad and a quick soup and a salad. I had my orange and I had my avocado. I got a cantaloupe over there. You got to be careful on the fruit though. It gets a little sweet. So that's why I'll have a big salad. But I need the chicken to put in the salad. That's the problem. I prefer some meat in my salad. But last night I got another broccoli. So I went to get some stuff. I got another broccoli. I got cauliflower. So it's like anytime I go to the grocery store, it's okay. I'm either running out of broccoli, yellow peppers, or onion or something because it just doesn't go the same spoke. So even if I bought them all at once, I'm going to eat. I tend to put the peppers in more things and the broccoli in more things. Cauliflower I won't put with my eggs. I don't know that it really works with an omelet. The broccoli does, but not the thing. And I went out to eat yesterday after I went earlier and went to this little mom and pop diner, and I saw omelet and I go, no, I eat enough omelets, and I saw a salad, so I ended up getting a little chopped steak and with I think I did get a tossed salad with it. It came with, you got one side. So I got the tossed salad with the steak, and it came with Jello and a pop. So I got a diet pop and a Jello with and I was starving after it. I think the problem, this is what you got to watch, Bobby. In the salad, I got French dressing. It was Catalina, but I'm sure it was sugar because after it, I had this sugar urge. Like I need to have some sugar, which is why you got to stay away from the high fructose corn syrup shit. So I never have that with my Kens. I never get that craving, and that's what you got to worry about. Now today I've been okay, but that's the thing. You can one off of it, right? I still did my 18 hours, and off we go. So let me know when you're going to do like your 45-hour fast, Bobby. I'll be rooting for you. Really. All you need to do is skip one day eating, whatever day it is. So eat today, tomorrow, don't eat. Have your water, have your coffee and tea, no avocado, no, nothing. And then what? So tonight's Wednesday, so Thursday, and then Friday, have a lunch. And it's so easy because all you're really doing is skipping the one day, but that's 24 hours. So you eat at 6 o'clock, or in your case, you eat at like 5 o'clock. So you go to 5 is 24, and then you go to 5 in the morning is 36, and then you go to 10, that's another 5 hours. You're at 41 hours, and you've only really skipped one day. You skip the lunch and a dinner. You're a little hungry, but then you're much healthier for it. And you go, and you don't even think about it. You're not thinking you're not eating because you're not eating the bullshit that makes you hungry. That's the key to it, right? So you're eating, like here, I'm having an orange and an avocado. I'm going to have a salad and a soup. I'm eating healthy, and I'm not even worried about, I didn't. And if I want a steak, I got chicken I'm going to cook up. I'll probably go get a roast for this weekend. My birthday's next week. I'll probably get some ribs or something. I remember in the old days, you'd go somewhere, it's your birthday, and you'd get this, you get a free ice cream, you get your car washed. I don't know what they offer now for your birthday, but anyway, so it's one of those things. What else, Bobby? College basketball until those communists. Well, see, I don't even talk to them. If I see them, I kind of glance the other way, and I don't make conflict. I don't say you're a communist. I don't say hi or bye. He's not there. Right. That's when you're really an INFJ. He's not there. I don't see the guy sitting over there. He's the communist. I don't even see him. I'm certainly not going to have conversation with him. I want nothing to do with him because he's taking my energy. We need to be alone and recharge a lot. Like after this show, I gotta recharge, right? So it takes me a good half hour to like eat and just recharge. And that's the problem, right? That's the key. So I don't even want to bother talking. I'm recharging them in the hot tub. I don't want to have conflict or waste my energy. The way things are nowadays, they probably just charge double on your birthday. Yeah. Oh, you want to eat here? Exactly. I was thinking of that. My one friend's looking for a job. So I had the idea of having her come and clean the house and like giving her $100 to clean the house and then take her to dinner. But I tried to do that before. I tried to pay her to clean the house and she didn't want to do it. So I'm like, I'm not going to go there. Well, we're so energized and so focused that we need our downtime. That's really the key to us. We can get to that level. Most people can't. So we get really focused, and that's what happens to us. Anyway, time to eat, I think. It's 3:40, 3.5 hours. Jesus Christ. Time flies when I'm having fun. All right, Bobby, have a great day. I'm off for basketball, swimming, and first I'm going to eat a little bit, and we'll get into some of these YouTube things. All right. Have a good day, Bobby. Have a good day, everybody. Take care. www.teaserking.com. We'll be working on our college basketball. I think we can do it now, and then I'll have something for you guys tomorrow. All right. Have a great day. Take care. Feel good. Do your fasting. Stay away from your sugar. Thank you, Bobby. Yeah, you too, Bobby. All right. Take care. Good to have you here.